Hello everyone, Tactical Itch here, and we are live, or at least I believe we are live, and today we are back for another RTK new player Conquest mode tournament. Big thanks to you, Big JP, for once again inviting me to cast this amazing event, and yeah, let us just jump into the first few replays, as we do have a few games of the first round already completed in this Swiss format tournament. We do have 4 rounds, and we have 7 games each. No, 7 games? No. 6 games each round. So that is a total of 24 replays. I probably can't cast everything in detail, so I might be speedrunning some of these replays. Yeah, let's just jump into the first battle here. Corhel Cross Age versus Computer. Lizardman versus Tinge. I haven't seen a Tinge battle for quite a while, because in the tournament battles I usually play, I myself always ban Tinge in the global ban stage, so you don't usually see me playing against Tinge. Kislev and Tinge are the 2 global ban options I usually take. Corel Cross Age once again going for, oh yeah, this is a very common pick in the new player tournament here. Slam Mage that can heal, for example Mazamundi, or in this case Slam Mage Priest of Life with Earth Blood, just regrowth to heal the Dreadsorian. Talent Banishment to blast enemy blobs, and then all the usual stuff here. Shield of Old Ones and Aura of Quetzal. No Blood Statuette, that is a bit strange. I personally do like the Blood Statuette a lot, just because anything that functions similarly to Malkov's Mystifying Miasma are great at dealing with enemy units that have that have a high unit model count, like Elite Cavalry, or in this case Demonic Infantry, though the Demonic Infantry here do have the Tinge barrier to tank those damage. So let's see what happens here, since we don't have that direct magic damage from the Blood Statute. A front line of Skink Cohort with a Legion of Chakra for a little bit of missile resistance there, and a more elite anchor of the front line. Skink Skirmishers plus the Star Chamber Guardians, and I can provide Guardian effect, which unfortunately wouldn't be useful against Tinge because they all have magic attacks. Other than that, that is it for the Lizardman army. For the Tinge army there in the skies, we have Doom Knights of Tinge, and the Zandagors, a very strong mobility with their armor piercing values and great charge bonus, magic attacks and all that jazz, plus their Tinge barrier can help them mitigate a lot of their initial shock damage and help them just keep fighting on in the initial stage of each combat. And then the Marauders of Tinge will be holding the front line. They're backed up by the Savage Claw guarding the Soul Grinder of Tinge, and the Chaos Sorcerer of Tinge of Metal Magic Pink Horrors. And yeah, the Metal Magic is just Final Transmutation plus the Skull of Catan to really boost that spell damage. Leading the army, we do have a Chaos Lords of Tinge with the anti-armor and anti-large specialty. He can actually fight monsters pretty well. And actually, let me slow down and oh, it's just checking Discord. Don't worry about it. Never mind. Alright, we are jumping in. Shredder of Lustria here will be moving up, and yeah. Oh wait, actually I need to announce it on the Discord that stream started. Give me a second. Alright, cool. Let's start. Yeah. Shredder of Lustria straight up charging towards the Marauders here, who have their shields knocked over by some Skink Skirmisher and Javelin shots. Shredder of Lustria is taking quite a bit of damage from the Soul Grinder shots and the Pink Horror, but here comes a Bound Banishment, blasting away the shield of the Pink Horrors, so not actually doing any HP damage, but the first wave of Marauders have been pushed back. Doom Knights, though, trying to jump onto the Skink Skirmishers, along with some support from the Zandagors here, trying to salvage these missile support, and also relatively cheap chaff of the Lizardman army, and just ignoring the Dreadsorian for now, other than keep shooting it. Also, the Savage Claw definitely got some value surrounding the massive monster. Now they are just gonna go and cut down some poor Skink Skirmishers. Pink Horrors will take quite some damage from the Banishment. And yeah, It seems that the Siege army is off to a pretty decent start, though. Oh no, the Chaos Lord of Siege here being tied down by a ton of Star Chamber Guardians surrounding and beating him down with that armor-piercing anti-large. He is on a disc, so he is taking that anti-large damage for sure. Doom Knight shattering the first wave of the Skink Skirmishers. A little bit of Earth Blood healing. No, that's a regrowth for sure. Healing back up the Shred of Lustria. Another Awakening of the Woods. We did saw a couple there, and which is what has been working down the HP of Pink Horus for sure. Though they still have quite a few unit models and are still able to output some significant damage, especially applying the on-fire effect and denying any potential heals from the regrowth. Soul Grinder continues to shoot. Keep just poking at the Shredder of Lustria there, while the Marauders and Saurus keep duking it out together. Skinks are fighting in the mix, though the... oh, here comes a massive Final Transmutation. A Skull of Katam, I hope it's active right now. No! Wait, actually, no. Hold on. Hold on. What's happening to the Slan here? I'm getting absolutely slapped by a surround of Screamers and also the Skull of Katam. Yeah, the Skull of Katam has won out, but definitely did some damage boost for sure in the earlier stage, I believe. Yeah, they have used the Skull of Katams, which explains why the Islamic Priest of Life dies so fast when surrounded by anti-large combatants, and also that Final Transmutation, a Bolt of Change hitting the Shredder of Lustria. Both the Shredder and the Islamic Priest are getting low in health, but with losing the Islamic Priest also means losing healing, so he has to prioritize healing himself right now. And now actually the Shredder is absolutely shredding those Screamers here, using the massive weapon strength, and the Screamers are dying fast, though the Islamic Priest is still getting pressured pretty hard here. The Skink cohorts and the Star Chamber Guardians are trying desperately to keep their Leash Lord in the fight here, but unfortunately Islamic Priest has been routed, meaning that if the siege forces are committed, they can probably try and chase it off the map or just straight up kill him. So the Shredder is now trying to shadow his Leash Lord here, trying to keep attacking whatever is chasing after the Islamic Priest of Life, while the Skinks and Saurus are trying to screen. But yeah, all the Skinks on the flanks and the periphery of the Blizzardman formation are wearing out. They are running low in HP and models. Now, they don't really have the speed and the model count to keep up and help screening for the Islamic Priest of Life. The Chaos Lord of Siege continues to pressure and hack down the Islamic Priest, but right now just quickly bailing out of this fight, as he does not want to get caught up on the Shred of Lustria. Though he might actually benefit from just keep sticking to the Islamic Priest in the fight, and just make sure the Islamic Priest is routed, even if it means that the Chaos Lord of Siege will be taking more damage, because now the Islamic Priest is back and is free to drop in another heal for the Shredder of Lustria if he has the Winds of Magic. But right now, let us just fast forward a bit, as the Conquest point here is just a slugfest for sure. Star Chamber Guardian, Saurus, and Skinks duking out with Chaos, with aspiring champions and the Marauder front line there, with a massive charge from the Shredder, absolutely devastating this poor metal caster here, while the Islamic Tree is healing himself back up with regrowth. The balance of power is shifting back towards the middle, and the Savage Claw here surrounded by Skinks. They are not able to just focus on the Shred of Lustria for now. On the flank there, the Soul Grinder and the Zandagols are running over the rest of the Skink Remnants, now charging into the Star Chamber Guardians. Not exactly great for both the Soul Grinder and the Zandagols, but they do need to fight them somehow, I suppose. Especially now that the Chaos Sorcerer of Metal has been routed, so no more spells right now to keep working down the Shredder. But yes, this is getting a bit rough, as the expensive entities of the Siege army is taking some heavy hits from the Shredder, though they are putting in some hurt on to the Shredder, as the aspiring champions are saturating in, and also the Zandago is doing some good AP damage. Here comes another Final Transmutation. Is it overcast? Let's see. It is a regular cast. It's still doing good damage. It's not exactly the most damage, but it's still doing good damage, working down the last bit of HP of the Shredder before the next regrowth comes in. Oh, seems like another regrowth comes in, trying to just keep that Shredder in the fight. He's rapidly getting the health back from that massive burst heal. Star Chamber Guardians are still fighting, and they're definitely duking it out, fighting the good fight here. And this this is definitely tighter than it seems in terms of balance of power, as the Shredder and the Slime Mage Priest are fighting shoulder to shoulder, supported by those Star Chamber Guardians, who can absolutely cut down those Severed Claw no issues asked due to their... Yeah, no questions asked due to their super elite melee stats and AP. Both the Chakra Legion and the Star Chamber Guardians are still in the fight. So this is a very, very dangerous blob for the Siege army right now to deal with. They don't have any more Soul Grinder shots left. Final Transmutation is on cooldown, or they probably don't have the Winds of Magic to cast another one anytime soon, since they just cast another one a couple minutes, a minute or two ago. And now the Lizardmen are very comfortably sitting on the Conquest point here. Not sure, and the Siege army is a bit, it's in a bit of a rough spot. They have a lot of mobility, but they will be forced to charge this very elite blob of Saurus and a single Dressorian. Another Final Transmutation. Now the Slime Mage Priest is down to his last 600 HP. Even a single dive bomb from the Chaos Lord might actually be able to snipe him out. Now the Siege army really need to go for that balance of power army losses victory, as they probably won't be able to capture that Conquest point in time. They managed to slay the Saurus, the Slime Mage, but they themselves took quite a bit of damage in the process, and they're just not able to dislodge those infantry from their positions, and that means that will be a victory for the Lizardmen. They're holding on till the end with their super elite Sauruses and Saurai, whatever, and the Shredder of Lustria standing till the end. I do think that definitely the Slime Mage Priest being allowed to return was a pretty notable mistake in the micro of computer. I would say it is probably worth it to just sacrifice the Chaos Lord of Siege for a chance of killing the Slime Mage Priest, or at least shattering and chasing him down, because retreating that Chaos Lord of Siege allows the Slime Mage Priest to come back, which allows a bunch of healing and reversing that balance of power differences, and then the Shredder was able to fight on a lot longer than it would have if the Slime Mage is eliminated slightly earlier. So, but yeah, very impressive performance from two very strong factions. The Shredder absolutely carrying the game with the healing from the Slime Mage Priest. The infantry also holding strong, especially the Star Chamber Guardians there, cutting down Tandigos, Marauders, the Severed Claw even. Severed Claw did great. If they can get a surround on the Dressorian, they can absolutely do some good damage, but it is a pretty rough final engagement there, needing to deal with a blob of elite anti-large defensive units plus a massive monster that is supplied with healing. But yeah, Soul Grinder did some really good damage. Doom Knight actually did okay, not amazing, but okay. Just running down skin cohorts and whatnot. And yeah, very good damage from the Chaos Sorcerer of Siege with Metal Magic. Probably would have been a lot less close if not for those Final Transmutation, but still a very, very fine game. And we shall be moving on to the next one. This one's between Nardu, the Rage Drinker, and it's a very thematic Steam name when looking at his faction as well. Going with Khorne, this is a bit of a factions war format, I believe, in this RTK new player conquest mode, where everyone will be sticking to the same faction throughout the entire tournament. And other than Nardu, on the Khorne side, we have High Elves played by Corvus Glaive. Now let us have a look at the army builds here. Khorne army going with Bloodletters. Is Lizardman skirmish build still viable? Recently, all I encountered is heal blobs. I think this is like a new player tournament, so everyone will be sticking to a very strong strong army build, which, well, unfortunately, it is indeed the heal blob, which requires less micro to play well, and it's still very strong in pretty much any scenario, except when being spammed with missiles and get shot to pieces, right? Even then, they can still do some good work. But yeah, you can only bring the same faction, I think, in this tournament, which means Lizardmen will probably stick to their heal blobs. But yeah, other than that, let's focus on this battle right now. Khorne going for front line of Bloodletters and Marauders mixed in together. Second line of Minotaurs of Khorne with great weapons. 2 Furies of Khorne and Blood Reaper. Interesting. Coming in with the Locust of Abjuration indeed. Ready to counter some spell damage. But I don't think there's any here on the High Elf side. But yeah, anyways. Herald of Khorne. On the other side, we have High Elves, the front line of White Lions, the second line of Spears protecting some Sisters of Avalon, Silvern Guard at the back line, and then some War Lions and Silver Helms. A lot of elite units, actually. White Lions relatively elite, and then Sisters of Avalon expensive unit for sure. Tyrion leading the army with no spellcaster. I would say it is probably a mistake here. You definitely want to take a spellcaster wherever you can. Basically any battle if you actually have access to Winds of Magic, because you're just regenerating value on the side. You're still getting the Winds of Magic, quoting Tequila Sense, that you're still getting that Winds of Magic, you're just not using it and just letting the value goes to waste. And the value in your army kind of accounts for the Winds of Magic as well, so you're just kind of wasting magic, wasting value by not bringing Winds of Magic. Right now, the White Lions of Trace managed to decimate the Bloodletters, who have been softened up by the Sisters of Avalon. But Khorne Furies are in the fight, and they're buffed up by Frenzy as a Khorne trait thing. So they do have very impressive attack stats, and they're actually doing some very respectable damage to the Sisters of Avalon, despite Sisters of Avalon being decentish melee combatants. On the flanks there, Minotaurs decimating the Silverham, so not much to be said other than the Marauders are just getting smashed by White Lions, but then the charge of the Minotaurs of Khorne are absolutely decimating them. The War Lions here, though, unfortunately, also unfortunately being swarmed by the Hounds of the Blood Hunt and just got eaten up alive. So Spearmen trying to hold the line, but it is not going to be possible. We'll just speedrun this since it is pretty much a slaughter fest for Khorne, as the Minotaurs just rush onto the Sisters of Avalon. Bloodletters duking it out with the spears, and with their anti-infantry bonus plus their armor piercing, they can cleave apart even the Silvern Gods. And yeah, definitely a bit of a mistake here, not bringing any spell support. And against Khorne, I wouldn't bring White Lions due to their abundance of anti-infantry AP. The Bloodletters with their anti-infantry AP will trade well into the White Lions, which is more of a generalist armored unit, and also focusing on their armor-piercing value. And yeah, they're not doing much against the Khorne army in this case. And yeah, pretty much getting ran over by a combination of Bloodletters and Minos. The Minos getting some pretty solid damage value, running over like the Sisters, and yeah, doing some good damage to cavalry as well. Next up, we have Grand Cathay versus Empire, Stelios versus King of the Hoots. Grand Cathay going for a very classic army build, front line of Jade Warrior to hold the box, and then second line of Jade Warrior crossbows plus some Iron Hail Gunners for some firepower, two regular Crowmen, 1 Empress Crowman, and wait, it's called the Empress Crowman, right? Which are, they're Vanguard deployed all the way on the, yeah, Empress Crowman. And then 2 more Grand Cannons ready to like counter shoot the Empire artillery, which they do have quite a few here. Hellblaster Volley Gun, though. I doubt their effectiveness against this is going to be a brutal slaughter for them. Yeah, the Hellblaster Volley Gun are absolutely getting decimated from afar, since the Grand Cathay cannons outrange them by a lot. Zhao Ming, the Iron Dragon, coming in with Dragon Breath and also Final Transmutation. Of course, the Burning Vambraces for that burst heal and damage resistance. On the other side, for the Empire Army, front line of Halberdiers, very expensive, relatively expensive AP. Not very expensive, but relatively expensive AP. I guess they're trying to counteract the Jade Warriors, but with the Jade Warriors being buffed up by Harmony, the regular Halberdiers don't even have close to enough melee stats to punch through their melee defense, so even with their AP, they will still be very limited in effectiveness in breaking through the Grand Cathay defenses. There are some great swords though, so they do have some anti-infantry bonus. Hogline long rifles, these would actually be decent in counter-sniping enemy artillery, and not the Hellblasters, as the Hellblasters are taking a ton of damage already. Spears guarding the back there. Light Wizard coming in with Net of Emmentalk to limit enemy mobility movement. Balthazar Gelt, yeah, some Empire Knights on the flank, and that's it for army builds. Homeland Long Rifles already unloading into the Jade Warriors, doing some really good damage. They're kind of like an artillery. Yeah, they are more artillery than small arms fire, I believe, so they can actually penetrate multiple enemy models and do some really nice damage multiplication. But yeah, right now the Onyx Crewmen are pinned down by a really nice overcast net of Emmentalk being targeted by the Hawkland Long Rifles. Hellblaster Volley Gun are trying to aim at Zhao Ming, but Zhao Ming is on foot, so he is not exactly vulnerable to those volley fire. Instead, the Hellblaster Volley Gun would probably benefit more in shooting at the Jade Warrior crossbows or the Iron Hail Gunners, or even the front line of the Jade Warriors instead, just to soften up the infantry formations, because the burst damage of the Hellblasters aren't exactly effective against the single entity Zhao Ming. One of the Crowmen is already fading away, turning into an unstable elemental construct, though Zhao Ming and one of the Crowmen did manage to get on top of one of the Hawkland Long Rifles and shutting them down, while the Hellblasters continues to fire. Balthazar Gelt getting a little too close to those Iron Hail Gunners, dropping a Searing Doom, but he himself taking quite a bit of damage. A second unit of Hawkland Long Rifles are shut down right now. The Empress Crowmen, Super Elite Crowmen, with their bombs are also in, straight up shattering these poor Hawkland Long Rifles. No bombs have been used yet, so they can still soften up those spears in the future with their bomb drops if they decide to do so. But right now, it looks like Grand Cathay is getting ahead in terms of the battle and balance of power. They are occupying, comfortably sitting on top of the Conquest point. The Great Swords and Halberdiers are being repelled by the combination of Jade Warriors and missile fire. The Jade Warriors especially, without the shields, Halberdiers not having access to any shields, they are taking a lot of damage to crossbow bolts. Hawkland Long Rifles, Hellblasters are all being cleaned up by the Grand Cannons and maybe even some crossbow shots if they can get in range. But yeah, no, just a long range fire. And then Crowman plus Zhao Ming himself pushing back enemy infantry. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the Empire, especially these Empire Knights being forgotten on the far side. Now the Grand Cannons are just turning around to shoot them up while they are just sitting there doing nothing. Is that a Final Transmutation coming in? I don't think Final Transmutation is a good spell against Grand Cathay, just because their usual characters have healing. Zhao Ming has a burst heal, so like even if he gets low, he'll just get healed back up. So the Final Transmutation doesn't mean much, and then Miao Yin can also provide some regrowth heals. She does have access to healing, so yeah. Or is it Earthblight? Anyways, I haven't played her a while, so yeah. I think. Yeah, that is probably gonna be it, and that's just gonna be a slow grind to death for the Empire, especially now Zhao Ming is turning into a dragon, ready to charge down some infantry. The Empire State troops are still fighting and trying to push, but well, I don't see how they can finish off Zhao Ming. Zhao Ming can just keep fighting the infantry and keep dropping those dragon breaths to clear out the remaining infantry units, and then he himself can just fight off Balthazar Gelt and the Light Wizard. The infantry still continues to push from the Empire side, but they're just taking too much damage from the enemy missiles. Yeah, the Hawkland Long Rifles did some respectable damage to those Jade Warrior crossbows. Infantry continues to push. The state troops continues to push as well. Oh no, these guys, why are you standing here? You just keep pushing. You need to keep pushing and stop the Jade Warrior crossbows from shooting. You can capture the point, but there's no point in holding it if you're just gonna get shot to death. And yeah, we can just keep fast forwarding now as Zhao Ming just tear out a bunch of state troops, and it'll soon be army losses. Alright, we do have more replays coming in. I am just gonna quickly download them in the background, and cool. Alright, cool. Brackets. Okay, we've went through 2 rounds now, so 2 more rounds to go, and we do have semifinals and finals in this Swiss format, so stay tuned. We do have some live casting. Oh, do you have suggestions on how can I get matches with stable internet connection? Can't get a lot of matches from the Philippines. I don't think that is a great. Unfortunately, that is just Unfortunately, that is just a problem that is not fixable just from the the end of the game. Like, I used to play with horrible internet as well, and I just have to just tough it out, unfortunately. I mean, I try to turn off everything else that can disrupt the internet, that can occupy the internet bandwidth in my household, and try to keep everything stable, but unfortunately, it's just not ideal. But yeah, other than that, unfortunately, I can't really help out on that one. You need to figure it out with your ISP, unfortunately. Other than that, let's look at the army performances there. As the crowmen, one of them did, two of them did really well. This one gets shot up and crumbled early, so not much to say about them. But yeah, it is pretty much a very oppressive, very nice disruption from the crowmen, shutting down the enemy missiles, preventing them from generating much value. The Hellblaster is actually getting some decent value, as they did switch over and shoot at the Jade Warrior crossbows in the middle of the battle. So yeah, they got some pretty good value, and which is why the Jade Warrior crossbows got softened up quite a bit, despite not being interrupted. But despite no melee units that managed to catch them in combat. The Hellblasters definitely did a good job there, though being heavily targeted by the Grand Cannons, and it is pretty much the crowmen being occupied by the Hawkline long rifles, helping those Hellblaster volley guns stay alive for a bit longer, since the crowmen are a bit occupied by the other units. And yes, I said before, the front line just struggled against the Jade Warrior, buffed up by that harmony effect. Next up, we have Tomb Kings versus Norska. Interesting battle. I just had a fight with this matchup before, just today, but took a pretty heavy loss. I was playing against Berserk, one of the best players for a long time in the multiplayer scene, and they have been doing. They are really good at their micro and all that. So I think they actually won in like a worldwide tournament event a while back. Yeah. The Warpstone Cup, I think that he took the win in the Warpstone Cup, I think. So it's literally like the best of the best. I heard he has been out of the scene for a little bit recently, so yeah, I don't know. Let me just check. Yeah, I'm just yeah, I think he a few weeks ago he said he took a few weeks break and stuff like that, but yeah, he was still a very good player. But anyways, I do believe that we have a very strong faction on the table versus one of the shittier factions in the meta right now. Tomb Kings very, very strong with their relatively recent improvements to their War Sphinxes, including the Cambrian War Sphinx and the Necro Sphinx. Now, for the army builds here, Skeleton Warrior frontline, backed up by more Skeleton Warriors and Spears, one Melee Ushabti, Sphinx of Uskav, and Cetra the Imperishable on his Cambrian War Sphinx, coming in with Osirian's Incantation of Vengeance and also Jaff's Incantation of Cursed Blade. It's two very nice spells, but I do believe Naru's Incantation of Protection would work better in this matchup, since the Norskins doesn't have that much access to magic damage outside of Famir's and let me think. That's Flaming Sword of Ruin. That's the one that imbues magic damage. So physical resistance would be really nice against javelins and skin wolves and that sort. Anyways, for the rest of the army build, we do have some missile troops, Chosen of the Gods, and a bunch of scattered around skeleton horsemen on the left side of the map. Bone Giant as well, so a lot of devastating firepower, ready to shoot up enemy expensive targets. On the other side, for the Norskins, Marauder Horse Masters and Marauder Horsemen, frontline of regular Marauders backed up by Marauders with great weapons, a couple units of javelins with the anti-large bonus. Definitely can do some good damage against War Sphinx and Sphinx of Uskev. Skin Wolves. Nice anti-large presence, but I am worried about their performance against the Sphinx of Uskev, who does have fire damage. while the Skin Wolves having regeneration trait, they are weak to fire with a 30% damage, 20% damage amplification when it comes to fire damage against them. Rock the Troll King leading the army with Familiar Balefiend with a Burning Head. Burning Head really good at clearing out skeletons since Tomb Kings do lack armor in general. Even their armored units, the Tomb Gods only have like what, 50 armor? 55? Anyways, the Chosen of the Gods did more friendly fire to the Skeleton Warriors than actually to the Marauders, so a bit of a mistake there. Although I feel like the Chosen of the Gods would benefit more at shooting at the Javelins. Now that the Javelins are in range, they can just unload into the Chosen of the Gods and start doing damage. The Incantation of Vengeance doing some nice damage to the Marauders, but not exactly the most efficient use of the spell. Anyways, Javelins are getting chucked in, but they're going into the Skeleton Warriors. A bit of a targeting mistake there. You definitely want to manually target your Javelins into, for example, the Chosen of the Gods. While the Bone Giant keeps shooting at the Marauders with great weapons here. They need to start engaging in the front line instead of just sitting there and getting shot at. Burning Head at the back line. Burning Chosen of the Gods. Not great. You're not doing any damage here. You need to go... You need your Burning Heads to go down like, say, this blob of skeletons. It is a 2-for-1. You can kill 2 units for the damage output supplied by the Burning Head here. But unfortunately, a massive missed opportunity. And now the Javelins backline are being disrupted by Skeleton Horses jumping onto them. Marauder Horsemen are coming back here, trying to reinforce, but this is a chain route on the Norskin side. All these Marauder infantry are running, and as a result, they're applying that friendly routing nearby. If friends routing debuff, and yeah, they're just all being ran off by a ton of terror presence by the War Sphinxes, and also the Ushapti skeletons all running in, pushing back these Norskin troops. And now the Skeleton Horses are free to just keep chasing down the Marauders. Vark the Troll King also take quite a beating here, fighting against the Sphinx of Uskef, who does have that fire damage to really abuse his weakness to fire. He does have that regeneration trait to apply that fire weakness to 20%. So unfortunately, Vark the Troll King here is probably gonna get bullied off by the Sphinx of Uskef. A very nice Burning Head there, roasting a bunch of Skeleton Warriors, but the rest of the Norscan army is just falling apart, and I doubt they can muster up enough forces to push back this game here, as Frog is probably just gonna get chased off by the Skeleton Horses here, who just finished chasing off some Marauders there, and the Javelins aren't exactly in... These Marauder Horse Masters definitely need to come in and screen off these Skeleton Horsemen and bail out Frog. Otherwise, Frog will just keep getting routed away. But yeah, over here, Skin Wolves duking it out with Shaptis. Skin Wolves might have anti-large, but unfortunately they don't have much armor piercing and will struggle to kill off these Ushaptis quickly. And these Skin Wolves got stuck in a bunch of skeleton spears, I believe, which explains why they took so much damage. They did some good damage overall, but yeah, this is not gonna matter in the end. The War Sphinx and Sphinx of Uskef combined is very hard to take down if you don't have Javelins and other very nice missile damage. More Burning Heads onto the ground, and they're doing some good damage. But yeah, the Skin Wolves are getting smashed by Cetra the Imperishable. Sphinx of Uskef just sitting there and be like, yeah, Cetra got this. Just chilling on the other side. Yeah, Cetra does have this. Does got this. And yeah, the Skin Wolves now jumping in, and yeah, they are just gonna get recharged by the Sphinx of Uskef. They did some nice impact damage on Cetra, but the heavy armor of Cetra means that he's not taking that much damage. And the Sphinx of Uskef finishing off the Skin Wolves. We are going into 4x speed here. Yeah, the Horse Masters and Thark here nicely pushing off the pursuing Skeleton Horses, but the rest of the Norscan army is just falling apart pretty hard. Even if they kill Cetra, there's still a Sphinx of Uskef who is almost full health, which is very, very tough to deal with. The Bone Giant, I have not been talking about it at all throughout the game, but have accrued some decent value. Not a lot, since it was shooting out a lot of Marauders, so not exactly the most expensive thing to shoot at. It would have worked better if he shoots at the Familiar Balefiend or Throg himself. But regardless, he is doing some nice damage overall, and yeah, that is probably going to be GG for the Norskins, and victory belongs to the Tomb Kings. Very nice battle there. And yeah, we have more replays coming in. I just downloaded a bunch, so we'll be moving on to those. Apologies if I'm not like talking too I'm not commentating with too much detail here. We do have a lot of replays to go through, and yeah, so I'm just hoping to highlight some more interesting stuff happening in the course of combat. Chosen of the Gods and the Bone Giant just sat back and just keep firing, doing some good damage to units here and there. So really not much to say about them. While Cetra and Sphinx of Uskav dominating the battlefield with the Marauder horses, not Marauder horses, Skeleton horses, nicely disrupting the backline there, and yeah, doing some really good damage. The Skin Wolves did some okay damage, earning back their value, or at least most of their value, but still not quite able to win themselves the game there, as Rock got beaten up pretty heavily by the Sphinxes, and the Marauders, yeah, unfortunately just couldn't quite perform against all of the Sphinx and constructs. Horse Masters also not exactly great with their AP values. They can do decent values, but yeah, they can do decent AP damage, but unfortunately just not enough burst damage to take down the massive constructs. Their front line got decimated by the enemy constructs, and once one unit starts routing, everything else also routed, and then there's nowhere for the missiles to stand still and start shooting. Yeah. That is it for the fourth battle. We are deleting these replays, and we will be shifting some newer replays into the replay folder. There we go. Yeah. This one, right? Yeah. Alright, Corel Cross H. Once again, okay, never mind. For 1 second, I thought they were just gonna go for a Slime Mage Priest Heal Blob, but today we are seeing Tic-Tac-Toe over here very nicely mixing up the army builds a bit for a little bit more variety. And yeah, let's see what happened to. Alright. Army builds, some Chameleon Stalkers, relatively niche units for sure on the field. We do have some more Chameleon Stalkers on the other side of battle, and for the main formation, oh wait, forgot. Another Vanguard forces, these aerial units, the aerial squad of Tic-Tac-Toe, Masters of the Skies, Ripper Riders, one of them, the Colossalon Hunters with the anti-large bonus instead of the usual anti-infantry, and the main formation, a bunch of Skink cohorts with some cheap Furrow Bastillodon as a terror source to smash through enemy frontline, a bunch of red-crested Skinks for a little bit more AP value, and Skink Priest of Heaven with the Uranon's Thunderbolt to blast enemy armored targets, or maybe even some of the artillery models even. Curse of the Midnight Wind there to lower enemy armor, and that's it for the army builds. For the Lizardmen, for the crank of the army front line of Jade Warriors backed up by some Celestial Dragon crossbows, a lot of elite missile firepower with AP, so they can probably make short work of the Bastillodons, Peasant Long Spears, and the Jade Warrior Halberds holding the back line. Jade Lancers and Grand Cannon plus more Jade Lancers and Peasant Long Spears leading the army. We do have a Dragon-Blooded Shugengan Lord of Ying Magic, Talons of the Night, and Ancestral Warrior. Blossom Wind to blind enemy units and reduce their melee stats. Probably gonna help the front line to hold longer, since the Skink's melee stats will get nuked down to oblivion by the blinded debuff. Terracotta Sentinel providing some strong armored presence with terror and armor piercing as well. We'll do some fast forward as there's not much going on. Grand Cannon starts firing into the Furrow Bastillodon, doing some nice damage. Also collateral damage onto the Skinks. But the Bastillodon does have a bit of a missile resistance, so just kind of tanking it out. The front line there, Skinks are charging in, but getting shot up by Celestial Crossbows. They are taking some damage. Uranon's Thunderbolt onto Celestial Dragon Crossbows, but a nice dodge and just mostly avoiding that spell casting damage there. Grand Cannons start shooting in, and Bastillodon, one of them, has been rampaged, so they're stuck in melee for now. Skinks are trying to slip through the gaps of the Jade Warriors and try to get to the back line as the swarm of triple Ripper Riders trying to just beat up stuff wherever they go, and there's no doubt they can demolish these Celestial Dragon crossbows, but I do think that they might benefit more just to split up and go after support other engagements. For example, jump onto some Jade Lances with the help of the Red Crested Skinks as well. Now the Grand Cannons are continuously firing, the Bastillodons being a cheap distraction, just kind of keeping those Grand Cannons busy. Chameleon Stalkers are coming in though, using their preliminary explosive shots to whittle down their targets, and earn on Splinterbolt once again being dodged by the Stelios, the Grand Cathay player. Now the first Dragon Crossbows have been routed, the Peasant Spears and Jade Warriors also being dealt with. Wait, how the hell did they take so much damage? I'm a bit confused here. How the hell did they take so much damage from Skinks? Okay, actually, let me just replay this a bit. That did not make sense. I must have missed something here. Sorry about that. How the hell did they take so much damage from Skinks when there was a Celestial Dragon crossbow right behind them, providing that harmony effect? Alright, let's just jump back in and speed up. 4 times speed. And keep our view over on this side of the battlefield. Now Grand Cathay starts shooting at the Bastillodon. That is absolutely normal, doing not exactly the greatest damage value. They might be missing some shots. Celestial Dragon crossbow shot, and then now the Skink cohorts are moving in. Bastillodon jump in. Nice dodge from Stelios there, just moving those Celestial Dragon out of the way. Okay, Curse of Midnight wins, dropping the melee attack stats of the Jade Warriors and the Peasant Long Spears. Wait, hold on. Yeah, their melee attack, their armor also being dropped, but oh, some of the Ripper Dactyl Riders did manage to push in onto the Peasant Long Spears and the Jade Warriors after hitting up the Dragon Crossbow. So, okay, that explains a bit better. Like, one of the Ripper Dactyls actually got a few unit models in, and the AP and Anti-Infantry. Hey everyone, nice to see you all here, and yeah, doing some really nice damage onto the Celestial, to the Jade Warriors and whatnot. Chameleon Stalkers are now moving in, and the first line of defense over here, the Peasant Long Spears and the Jade Warriors are buckling to the swarm of Skinks. And now the Ripper Dactyl Riders are moving on to the next targets. Another unit of Celestial Dragon Crossbows being targeted by the swarm of Ripper Dactyl Riders, though the Chameleon Skinks at the back there are being repelled by Spears and Jade Lances. These Skinks really need to be activated and start going after the closest missile unit and try to distract them. While over here, Celestial Crossbows are being protected by a bunch of long spears and also the Ancestral Warrior Summon, while the Ripper Dactyl Riders are taking a ton of damage in the process. Ripper Dactyl Riders are in the skies, back in the skies mostly right now, and the Red Crested Skinks are swarming in. Now the Ripper Dactyl Riders, seeing that there is an exposed unit of Grand Cannon, they are all moving over to swarm the Grand Cannon, though one of the unit is getting rather low in health. The Colossodon Hunter is still very much healthy, are now getting the drop onto the Grand Cannon. There is Skinks still occupying the Jade Warrior and Long Spear frontline, just keeping them busy, keeping them honest, so the other units like the Bastillodon, one of them actually managed to get through and get on top of the Celestial Dragon Crossbows. The other one also being... The other Celestial Dragon Crossbow also being occupied by Skinks. Now these Grand Cannons are probably going to be offline, while these Chameleon Stalkers are still standing around doing nothing. A tactical reserve, but yeah, I don't think they're much needed in the fights right now. They are probably better off just to go after some Celestial Dragon Crossbows and chase them off. With their explosive shots and also the sheer numbers they have, they should be able to deal with the tattered Celestial Dragon Crossbows no problem. Though over here the Grand Cannons have been eliminated. One of the Ripper Dactyl Riders probably routed a little bit earlier, and so they were not able to they were not able to keep themselves in the fight and managed to get back in the sky. A little bit of a random Splinterbolt, a slightly slower dodge this time from the Celestial Dragon Crossbow. So mostly dodged the spell, but still took some noticeable damage. Chameleon Skinks continued to be forgotten. Hey, human boy, nice to see you here. Thanks for the raid. Oh, that explains why we are seeing so many people here. Oh yeah, nice to see you here, everyone. And thanks for the raid, human boy. Always appreciate that. And yeah. I hope you guys are having a good time with the King of the Hill stream with Human Boy SS, and welcome to the RTK New Player Conquest Mode Tournament, where we are just checking out some replays from some newer players on, well, the Conquest Mode. And yeah, thanks for the new sub as well, Kanan Lyland. Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce your name, so I just improvise something. But yeah, thanks for a new sub. Appreciate that as well. Jade Lancers here are trying to run down the skink cohorts, while the the triple Ripprojectile squad still fighting strong. One of them getting pretty tattered, but with Tic-Tac-Toe holding up their leadership, they should be able to fight a little longer. Another Uranon's Thunderbolt dropping right onto the blob of Ancestral Warrior, and Peasant Long Spears doing some nice damage. Also some Celestial Dragon Crossbows taking some damage as well. These Celestial Dragon Crossbows here, a little bit out of position, not being protected by any infantry, will just get jumped by a bunch of Ripprojectiles, and probably gonna be the end of them. Red Crested Skinks moving on over to fight Peasant Long Spears. A nice Curse of the Midnight Wind, dropping that melee attack stats of all these Grand Cathay troops in the vicinity. So even with the anti-large bonus of the halberds, the Jade Warriors will still struggle to do damage to enemy monsters. And on top of that, all that anti-infantry armor piercing of the Ripprojectile Riders are really taking a toll on the Grand Cathay units. First of the Jade Warriors routing, and then another Jade Long Spear routing. On the other side, Chameleons, Stalkers, and Red Crested Skinks flanking, sandwiching these poor Peasant Long Spears. Nice Curse of the... Oh, is it a nice Curse of the Midnight Wind? I'm just looking at the spell. Doing a lot of damage to Skinks, but also killing off half a unit of Jade Warrior Halberds. That is a brutal friendly fire, for sure. And in this kind of late game scenario, you need every single infantry support you get for your single entities. And yeah, not looking too hot for the Grand Cathay army now that their infantry support is running thin. Finally, I'm not seeing dwarfs when I join a tactical lit stream. The Cathay are really similar. They are like dwarfs but human. Yeah, dwarfs but human. Yeah. But yeah, that is gonna be a mass rout from all these Grand Cathay unit there. Another Blossom win, but it's not gonna matter much since these Cathay troops are all routing, leaving only the single entities in the fight, surrounded by armor-piercing Ripprojectiles. And yeah, that's probably gonna be GG, as their lord just goes down, and there's no way a single sentinel can fight off so many AP units. And also, like, the Tic-Tac-Toe Sky Squad definitely doing a good job here, picking off enemy missiles. The Chameleon Stalkers, some of them got left around for a little too long in tactical reserve, but overall, some decent performance, overwhelming enemy missiles. And yeah, very nicely done by Corhell Cross X there, using a combined arms strategies with all these Ripprojectile Riders, Vero Bastillodon, and Chameleon Stalkers striking the Cathay box from all angles and shutting them down. Although I would say that the Cathay army was made a little bit mistake not taking any Crowmen. Crowmen are just great in general, like defending your missile troops after all. And Terracotta Sentinel, definitely not the pick you would want to bring into a Lizardman matchup. You want more AP units. Like Iron Hail Gunners would be good. Instead of like one single very expensive piece, multiple piece would work better. I mean, you do have the Celestial Dragon Crossbows, but Iron Hail Gunners would probably work better if you just want to burst down something fast. They are dwarves if they weren't short. They do have some magical constructs and all, so yeah, it is slightly different, I suppose. But yeah, anyways, next up we have Greenskins versus Tomb Kings. This might be a bit of a rough match between for the Greenskins, since they are a low leadership faction that will be forced to deal with a lot of terror from the War Cats, the Sphinxes, after all. But let's see how this one goes. I am worried on how the Greenskins can deal with the double Sphinx build, but we shall see. Once again, Larry 2903 is taking roughly the same build, actually. Skeletons in the front line and back line guarding the Chosen of the Gods and a Bone Giant, 2 Warcats, 1 Sphinx of Uskev, and Cetra the Imperishable, plus one more Ushapti, providing some anti-infantry, monstrous infantry. And then some skeleton horses, yeah, Vanguard deployed on the far corners of the battlefield. Well, the Greenskin army here, front line of Orc Boys, probably can win out against the skeletons, but once the constructs get in the fight, they will probably buckle. Second line of Squig Herds and a third line of Orc Arrow Boys, guarded by some Orc Boys with spears. 1 Rusty Airs for that armor sundering to amplify the damage of the Orc Arrow Boys and Broken Tusk mobs. And leading the army, we do have skink. Oh no, what skink? No. I mean, they're small and they're green, but they're definitely not a skink. Night Goblin War Boss with the Tormentor Sword and Fermented Fungi. 2 very good items to lock down enemy unit. And then on top of that, we do have a Giant River Trollhag with a Swamp Breath. I would say a Mither would be better if you just want to keep slowing down enemy units. But yeah, let's see how this battle goes here. Other than the main formation of the Greenskins, there are also some Orc Boar Biggins for the anti-large and AP. Some Dirkit Squigs, Vanguard deployed on the far flank. Not sure what they're doing here, but yeah, Orc Boar Biggins gonna reconvene with the rest of the army. We'll do a bit of fast forward there, as both armies are just trying to cautiously advance. Although the Chosen of the Gods are getting definitely a bit more aggressive here, as they can freely walk up without getting worried about being shot back due to their long range. Bone Giant also doing some good damage, and the Orc Boys are absolutely getting pounded by those Tomb King's artillery. Orc Boys are now charging in Squigs as well into Unbraced Skeletons and are doing some really good damage. They are now flanking around with their sheer numbers. Although one of the Orc Boys have already been shattered from the firepower of the Tomb Kings, Giant River Trollhag probably better to just move into the forest instead of pull back, so she can still be in range to cast spells. But right now, the Orc Boys are getting bullied hard. Night Goblin Squig Hoppers, these ones are, and yeah, no, they're still getting dragged down by the sheer numbers of the enemy troops. Orc Boys with spears are engaging, but now it's still going to be rough. It's still going to be rough, as the Orc Boar Biggins are still sitting really far back and are not actually engaging against enemy monsters. They're desperately needed over here to stop the rush of the Ushapti, but right now the Ushaptis are in, and they're now tying down the Orc Boys and just dragging them down in melee combat, while Greenskins are just faltering on multiple sides of the battlefield and allowing the Tomb Kings to come over and occupy the middle point, although they don't seem to have that targeted right now. Dirkit Squigs flanking all the way around all these walls of skeleton spears, trying to get on top of the... Wait, why are you stopping? That makes no sense. But yeah, anyways, they're trying to get on top of the Chosen of the Gods there, dragging them down in combat, while the Orc Airboys and the Rusty Earths are just standing over and try to shoot in and shot up the Chosen of the Gods. Ooh, some of the shots are definitely coming onto Cetra the Imperishable here. Broken Tusk Mob managed to get a surround onto the guy and start doing some really nice anti-large AP damage, though the Airboys are still stuck in melee right now. Skeleton Warriors and Ushaptis just tying them down. A Wa is coming in, the first Wa of the day, and it is October indeed, though Orc Boys are holding strong against skeletons just fine, but the Dirkit Squigs have been pushed back, allowing the Chosen of the Gods to be resecured, although these Orc Boar Biggins are being left forgotten in the back line there, so definitely a bit of a mistake there. A lot of these Orc Boar Biggins are not exactly engaging in combat, though a very nice, once again, very nice surround onto Cetra the Imperishable. This would be a nice time to just drop some Spirit Leeches and whatnot to drain out his health. While the Night Goblin War Boss, I believe... Yeah, this is why you need to bring the Night Goblin War Boss on a Squig. That it will give him a bit more mobility and actually help him get into position faster to drop those Tormented Sword or other Fermented Fungi. Right now he's just trying to waddle around the battlefield and trying to get to the closest closest enemy unit, but he is really struggling it right now. Cetra the Imperishable, though, still being surrounded and beaten up by Orc Boar Biggins, not having the greatest time, and not a Fermented Fungi keeping him in the fight. And Cetra will probably go down here to the surround of a ton of Orc Boar Big spears of the Orcs are coming with their stabbas, although the Summon Ushapti is jumping right on top of them, but they are just in time to just stand right next to the Orc Air Boys, keeping them away from harm from the Ushaptis. Orc boys with spears managed to cut through a bunch of skeletons, and now they're jumping into fighting more skeletons, but I think the main fight is still over here. It really comes down to whether the Tomb Kings can take down the Sphinx of Uzkev. Now that they have taken down Cetra, as they managed to surround him with a bunch of Orc Boar Biggins, now they just need to deal with these two very expensive single entities, and they should be good. Right now, the Tomb King's balance of power is indeed boosted up by the Ushapti summons, so it will go down in a bit. But our skeleton horses are still roaming the battlefield, able to pick apart some tattered and depleted, beleaguered greenskin forces who are running out of leadership and health. Right now, for example, these Rustiers have been ran off, while the Sphinx of Uzkev can just cycle charge around and do more damage to enemy infantry and cavalry. Over here, Ushapti continues to push back the Orc Air Boys, though they might be needed right here, as the Bone Giant is completely surrounded by enemy troops, especially the Broken Tusk Mob and more Orc Boar Biggins. The tactical reserves of the Orc Boar Biggins might come in quite useful here, as they're not, they are preserved till the late game of the battle and are now taking fights with relatively full strength of their unit here. 50 models still remaining and over half health, and they're now surrounding the Sphinx of Uzkev with a bunch of Orc Air Boys shooting in and chipping away the health of the Sphinx of Uzkev. And then, yeah, losing Cetra there was definitely painful. And right now, the remaining Sphinx and the Bone Giant had no choice but to just duke it out in melee against the Orc Boar Biggins, which is not going to end well for them. Darn River Troll Hack has hot armor bunkering behind a single small tree. Absolutely, absolutely. Just blocking all the shots, right? Wood Elf's OP as long as the trees don't start moving. But, once the tree starts moving, they lose their immune to anything status. The invulnerability status on their unmoving trees, right? But yeah, that is going to be GG here, as the Sphinx of Uzkev and the Bone Giants have been ground down to dust, giving the victory to the Greenskins with their very nice surround with their AP mobility there. Also, great performance from the Broken Tusk Mob and the Orc Boar Biggins. A little bit mistake on Larry 2903 there. I don't think they brought in the Naru's Incantation of Protection, I don't believe. Yeah, which might be why Cetra died relatively quick in a surround against all those Orc Boar Biggins. I would love to see the Night Goblin War Boss on a Squig mount, so that he can move around and drop his control abilities a little bit quicker. But yeah, very good performance from Falling Star there. Very nicely done. Shooting up those Sphinxes with one of the Orc Air Boys and the Rusty Airs. Doing some minor damage, but mostly just using the Orc Boar Biggins to surround and beat up Cetra, while the Orc Boys beat up the poor Skeleton Warriors, getting some pretty impressive kills so far. And yeah, GG. Oh yeah, and some minor damage from the River Troll Hag, and yeah. Let's see. Pretty mad damage from the Sphinx of Uzkev, actually. Didn't actually do much. They're best at dueling characters, but can still do some decent collision damage against infantry. So I'm surprised they didn't actually do that much here. But I believe that all the Orc Boar Biggins being pulled back so far back actually helped them survive till the late game, as the Ushapti and Bone Giant weren't able to shoot at them too much, accruing limited value throughout the game. Let me just check. People are done with the 4th round, I think. Okay, there's still some players going at it. Still one more player going at it in the 4th round, and then we'll soon be moving on into the semifinals live session. Hold on, I need to check which replays I've downloaded and which I have not. Okay, I've downloaded HLNS. Okay. Let me just quickly download the replays first. And then after that, we should probably... yeah, we should probably have, we'll be moving on to the live casting section of the semifinals and finals. Wait, hold on. Are these... What is this auto save replay? Let me just check. Sorry. Yeah, I'm just gonna quickly organize my replays there, teammate. Teammate. Alright, cool. We have 8 more replays in the backlog, and on top of that, we have a semifinals and a finals. I'm not sure if they are best of 1s or best of 3s, which I am not. Okay, they're both best of 1s, I believe. So yeah. Okay, they are. Big JP is calculating scores for the top 4, so I think we're moving on to the live streaming section soon. Okay, cool. We've done with these, and then Computer versus Team Members and Son of Heaven versus Hellcross H. So let's check out. Let's check out Son of Heaven versus Hellcross H. Wait, no, we've seen a couple Lizardman battles already. So let's go with Team and a Computer 47. Let's go with a Computer as well. So. Okay, cool. We are moving on to the live casting section now. Let's see what happens here. Alright, looks like Tima is gonna set up their lobby. We'll be waiting a bit here. I would love to be casting something right now, but I don't think we have enough time to jump on to the... like, I don't think we have enough time to finish the replay before we jump into... We have to jump into the lobby for them to start the battle, so yeah. We'll just do that. But yeah, I hope everyone is having a good weekend so far. It's been a pretty chill one for me. I finally finished assembling my Custodes army, and I will have a little bit more time to work on videos once more before I start assembling a different squad of Custodes. But yeah, I haven't been playing a lot of Total Warhammer lately, other than in tournaments. After all, Thunderbarge is still on the ranked multiplayer game, so that was not great. I don't want to deal with that every damn time I go into accept DM from teammate. We are going in. We are going into the lobby. Let me just pull up the screen blocker and wait, hold on. Yeah, there we go. Join with code. There we go. Oh. What? Hold on. They might be... Yeah, they might have given me the... Is it? Yeah, I think they might have given me the wrong password. The usual one doesn't work. Mostly because of that. Yeah, let's wait a bit. Alright, cool. Alright, cool. We should have a different... Yeah, we should have a different room now. Okay, they haven't... Yeah, I think they forgot to set up a spectator slot. Alright. We'll be waiting. Alright, come on. Spectator slot. Alright. Yep, there we go. Yes! We're in! Or at least we're going in. Alright, right. Alright, cool. Marilay's Liga Joanna. Yep. Team. Let's just call him T-Man. Let's not call him the other name. Computer here. Going with. Are they both going for Tinge? Oh no! Are they both going for Tinge? Oh no! It's a Tinge Civil War. I didn't realize T-Man is going for Tinge as well. Oh, it's a Tinge. So it's gonna be a Tentacle versus Tentacle battle, isn't it? But let's see if they're gonna figure out something interesting. Tinge Mirror? No, it's gonna be blue fire spam all over the place for sure. Or maybe one of them will start spamming Skull of Catan and Final Transmutation. Who knows? If they can get a good cast on this spell, that might be good. We shall see here. We shall see. But looks like it is indeed a Tinge Mirror. And we'll see a lot of Warp Flame around the battlefield. Alright. I feel like this battle is... Because Tentacles are so strong right now, I feel like this mirror matchup will just determine... Contrarian Codex is in as well, I guess, so we will be sharing the spectator slot with another player, I suppose. But yeah, it's like... Oh, okay, they dropped out, never mind. But yeah, I feel like this matchup will be heavily dictated by who can micro their Tentacles a bit better. Just because Tentacles are so good. They have great charge impact damage, great damage output. They have the Siege Barrier to keep them alive. It's really hard to beat a good old Tentacle spam. But yeah, I think there's a limit to Tentacles. Yeah, Tentacles are only limited to 2 per army, so I guess this time we'll have a little bit more breathing room for the rest of the roster. Maybe we'll see some Soul Grinder, or maybe we'll see some niche units like the Doom Knights. Who knows? But yeah, let's see what happens here. Don't worry, I won't bother you. Alright. That's fine. Now, yeah, I wouldn't mind I wouldn't mind a second spectator if this is not a stream, because there's always a risk of the more people there are in the lobby, the more likely the internet between all 4 of us and like all the players and spectators within the lobby and the server will go wrong. So it's a bit hard to like, it's fun to watch the games together, but yeah, it's just not great if you if there's a higher risk of just scrambling the connection, especially like we're on stream and we don't want everything to slow down to a crawl in the live casting. Yeah, looks like both players are ready, and we'll be jumping into the first live battle on the stream today. Alright, looks like we have the armies out and ready. Let's turn off the screen blocker. We do have 2 interesting armies. Both sides are spamming the Zangors and a little bit of a Marauder Horseman firepower, but they did take a little bit slightly different approach to the rest of the army. You're doing a great job on your own. Thank you, thank you. No need for a second spectator. Appreciate the compliment. Now for the army builds here, we have a bunch of Zangors in the front line. There are a bunch of Marauder horses of Tsinj, and then in the skies, Furies and Screamers to pressure enemy missiles and whatnot. There's also Chaos Saucer of Tsinj in Metal Magic with the Skull of Catan and Final Transmutation combo, Chaos Lord of Tsinj, and Marauder horses. About the Skull of Catan, you need to really make sure the skull is activated during the activation of the Final Transmutation, because you only get the damage boost as long as the spell mastery boost as long as the Skull of Catan is activated. So if you cast the Skull of Catan first and then cast the Final Transmutation, you'll be wasting a few seconds there, because the Final Transmutation has a wind-up time, and then during the wind-up time, you're not doing any damage, and the Spell Mastery isn't doing jack shit. So what you need to do is you cast this Final Transmutation, and then as soon as Final Transmutation begins, immediately activate Skull of Catan, and then you get the nice spell damage boost. Anyways, Chaos Lord of Tsinj with Changer Die for the damage resistance and leadership, while on the other side, Marauder horses as well, also being spammed on the battlefield, and then a front line of Zangors backed up by some horrors. Pink Horror is one of them. Blue Horrors actually. Chromatic Abominations and the Sour Guts, plus a bunch of Zangors as well. In the skies for the blue Tsinj, going with a bit of a Changebringer spam, and oh my god, half a unit of the Zangors just got deleted. And that is with the Tsinj barrier. My god, that is a lot of damage. And then on the other side, the Murder Horsemen also take quite some damage as well. This is going very poorly for the red Tsinj at this moment. This poor Zandagor is just straight up getting deleted, while the Furies here diving down trying to save the Zandagors, but they're diving down to avoid enemy charge maybe? I don't know. But yeah, they're getting harassed by enemy Furies. Pink Horrors the Sour Guts are now turning fire into this this position, trying to chip down the enemy firepower, but the Red Furies are trying desperately to chase down the Changebringers and avenge their fallen Zandagors, but looks like the Furies of the other side is managing to intercept them and just keep them at bay, and more mobility are coming in to reinforce the fight. So these Red Furies might not be successful in their pursuit, being swarmed by enemy units and probably just gonna die there. Even the Changebringers are in there to just wreck them in melee. But more Furies coming in, and on top of that, Exalted Lord of Change with Metal Magic, with Final Transmutation and Searing Doom is coming in to duke it out. So the Furies probably just want to just keep these enemy Furies honest, and while bailing out the Changebringers. Though 2 Furies on 1 means that the Blue Furies will probably win this. More Screamers coming in as well, but there are also the Marauder Horsemen with their Javelins trying to provide some fire support. Both sides are sending in a lot of resources into this engagement right now. One side trying to kill off those Changebringers, and the other side trying to do as much damage to the enemy army as possible. Right now I have nice Final Transmutation upgraded version hitting 3 units, Furies, the Screamers, and on top of that, the Chaos Lord of Tsinj, all getting hit by the upgraded Final Transmutation, taking quite some damage. However, the Chaos Lord of Tsinj, being an anti-large armor-piercing combatant, is just sticking his halberd right to the bum of this poor Exalted Lord of Change. Will be doing some nice melee damage as the javelins getting thrown in by the Marauder horses. On the other side, the blue Marauder horses are flanking around and will be attempting to do a bit of a surround and chase down the enemy Zandagors, while the Exalted Lord of Change is taking a lot of damage from the enemy melee, while the rest of the Zandagors are just sitting there digging their nose and picking their nose. That's right, picking their nose, not doing jack shit. While the Chaos Lord of Tsinj definitely put a dent on the Exalted Lord of Change of Metal Magic. And remember, we haven't seen any Final Transmutation from this Chaos Saucer of Tsinj of Metal yet, so there might be a Skull of Catan and Final Transmutation incoming. And that might just spell the end of the Red Tsinj army at that point. We shall see. I think this would be a good opportunity to cast. Okay, Skull of Catan is activated, but then they activate the Final Transmutation. That was the mistake I was talking about the early earlier stage of the battle. But yeah, that doesn't really matter at this point, since that is more than enough damage to finish off the Exalted Lord of Change. And there goes the Lord of the Red Tinge Army. No more spell support, although it's not like there's any spell support notable on the blue Tinge side. They are trying to duke it out against the enemy Zandigors and Zandigors and Zangors. A little bit of a Bolt of Change, doing probably more damage to the Zangors than to the Chaos Lord of Tinge. But either ways, Murder Horses are trying to silence the Sour Guts here. Zangors duking it out against Zangors. It's going to be a very even fight. Fury's chasing off enemy routed Murder Horses. Seems like the blue Tinge might be taking a little bit of a lead in terms of the battlefield control, but they do have to be careful as their Chaos Lord is running out of health, being surrounded and beaten up by Zangors and Zandigors. Though the Zangors and Zandigors are not doing too hot here, being recharged by enemy Murder Horses as well, and then just surrounded on all fronts by enemy units. If they're... Oh no, why are you running away? Murder Horses, just stay there and let the Zangors surround it, your enemies, and they will probably break. Or maybe you can go for another rear charge and they will probably break by with a second charge. Oh no, that's why they're moving out. They need to countercharge the enemy Murder Horses. Wise choice, as the Zangors and Zandigors are eventually breaking from the overwhelming enemy forces, and the Chaos Lord of Tinge somehow managed to stay alive during the whole ordeal and went back into the skies. A little bit of an arcane surge, mustering more winds of magic for the Chaos Sorcerer of Tinge with metal magic to get another final transmutation out, I believe, and probably the best cast next up is gonna be on the Sour Guts. Sour Guts for sure. Oh no, looks like they're trying to go for more blobbed up enemy units and just trying to drain down some Zangors. Though the Zangors, these guys are routed and will be soon moving out of the spell area of effect, and these guys are, they take some minor damage, nothing too substantial. But Zangors are coming in to overwhelm the Sour Guts position. Chromatic Abomination still firing around. This is where a Searing Doom on top of the final transmutation would be coming in handy for the Chaos Sorcerer of Metal. At this point, final transmutation is pretty much pointless, with all infantry units remaining on the other side of the army. And wait, where's the Chaos Lord? The Chaos Lord, okay, just staying there safely away from enemy missiles, just making sure he doesn't get killed. Wise choice there. Sour Guts are being surrounded and picked off by the Zangors. Chromatic Abominations are coming back and trying to shoot back at the enemy Murder Horses, but they just don't have enough range. Yeah, they don't really have enough speed or range to keep those Murder Horses consistently within their shooting distance. Sour Guts are running lower and lower in health as the Zangors are dragging them down. Another Zangors is coming in to try and screen out the pursuing enemy Zangors as the Sour Guts trying to retreat to safety so that they can once again start shooting back at enemy units. But yeah, things are looking pretty rough for the Red Tinge army, as they're now down to 3 units of Zangors, no, 2 units of Zangors and 1 depleted Sour Guts and 1 Chromatic Abominations. Now the Chaos Sorcerer of Tinge even going into melee there just to disrupt the enemy Sour Guts. Also picking apart units and avoid doing more explosive Sour Gut damage to friendly troops. But yeah, with the fire support of the Chromatic Abominations, somehow the Zangors managed to pull ahead in terms of the melee fight. Now, the problem is that the Red Tinge army isn't exactly trying to occupy the Conquest point right now. They're holding the position and trying to pick off whatever that gets close to them with their firepower, but they're not dislodging any enemy units from the Conquest point. And right now, the Blue Tinge army is just safely sitting on the Conquest point, allowing that victory tickets to trickle in and try to establish dominance through sheer ticket victory. Yeah, Chromatic Abominations will annihilate these horsemen if they get a shot on them, and it seems like they did, knocking out that Tinge barrier, and now taking some HP damage as well, maybe leaving a couple bodies behind. Yeah, the problem is really just they don't have anything to take down single entities, or at least not good at taking down single entities. And Chromatic Abominations being finished off by the Chaos Sorcerer of Tinge there, while their explosion damage doing not much against the enemy targets, while the Chaos Lord of Tinge, having that shield fully charged, managed to actually get into combat using that shield to tank damage, and with the Furies help manage to rout off the Zangors. Another final transmutation on to the Chromatic Abominations, and that shall be GG. That shall be the end of this game between Computer and T-Meh, with the Blue Tinge army grinding it out with some devastating volleys from the Changebringers. Although unfortunately they didn't actually do that much in the end over the battle. Actually, I should save it and maybe I'll check out what happened to the Changebringers afterwards. Since I didn't actually pay attention to them and they just kind of died. They did take some noticeable damage as the enemy Furies are pursuing them. So I wonder if it's just javelins and horse shooting them down in the end. But yeah, congratulations to Computer, moving on to the next stage of this final showdown in the Swiss format tournament. We do have a finals upcoming, decided between Corhel Cross H and I don't quite remember who is the fourth player, Son of Heaven, which I am not sure what faction they're using. But yeah, anyways, we do have to go through a little bit of army performances. Chaos Furies did some okay damage, but yeah, mostly the Javelins doing a lot of work here. And also the Chaos Lord of Tinge hacking down on the poor Exalted Lord of Change. Javelins doing some good damage, Psycho running down enemy units, Psycho charging around the battlefield, doing some pretty nice work. Zandagor's surprisingly enough not doing much here, especially the one that got absolutely burnt down by the Changebringers. These guys did okay damage, and yeah. Sarguts did some really solid damage, but just not quite enough to drag this back, as their loss of the Exalted Lord of Change in the early game was a very, very painful loss indeed. Let us jump out of it and go ahead. Oh, Stelios. Oh, Stelios is the Son of Heaven. Okay. Let's just jump in. And turn on our screen blocker as well. It is going to be Grand Cavalier versus Tinge, which is definitely going to be a rough one for Tinge, I would say. But both factions are still really strong, and I haven't seen this matchup for a while, so I'm not entirely sure how it would go. But with the kind of missile attacks available with Grand Cathay, you can't really Blue Horse spam the shit out of this matchup. And Zandagors might be a key tool in taking out the. And no, Zandagors are too expensive. You need Furies to swarm the enemy back line, and then something else to just break through the enemy infantry. But definitely you need a lot of Furies for this matchup for sure, just to keep the enemy missiles honest instead of shooting all the time. But yeah, let's see what happens. Alright, let's check out the chat here. Wow, that is an overkill. That was indeed an overkill. But, I mean, at that point, there's no better choice to use that Skull of Gautama and Final Transmutation. So might as well just dump it onto the most expensive unit available. That is the poor Lord of Change of Metal. Okay, we have a Grand Cavalier versus Lizardman battle on the other hand for the... Yeah, for the other semifinals, which we will check out afterwards. But yeah, final battle in this tournament and in the live casting section. Let's see what happens. Alright, the Grand Cafe is ready, but we still need to wait for Singe to do anything. So, yeah. I suppose we wait. Alright, cool. Let's see what we're seeing in battle here. Looks like computer is almost done as well. Yeah, I do have the army blocker on. Good. Yep, looks like computer is almost ready. Just figuring out the last bit of their money, where to go with that. And yep, we are done. We are going in. Grand Cafe versus Siege. We shall see what happens here with Grand Cafe going for the classic a box army with a giant war drum. Front line of Jade Warriors with some Jade Warrior halberds backing up with long spears as well. One Celestial Dragon God, some elite fighting power, anti-large fighting power as well, and then Iron Hail Gunners, 3 of them, providing some solid firepower to burst down any monsters nearby, or even non-monsters. Even shielded infantry will take a ton of damage if get shot by those shotgun type of missile unit. Other than that, we do have a giant war drum to provide that melee attack and immune to psychology boost to nearby units, or add some extra armor. It also imbues magic attacks to bypass the enemy. Oh yeah, it can imbue magic attacks to bypass enemy physical resistance, but I don't think that's important here. I don't think that's important here other than fighting Furies. But then again, those are just Furies. You can probably just charge them down with the mobility like Jade Lancers. Jade Lancers on the flanks, and yeah, that is it for the main army. Zhao Ming leading the army with Dragon Breath and Final Transmutation. On the, of course, Burning Vambraces as well, as usual, for the burst heal. On the other side of the battlefield, we have some Furies scattered across the battlefield, a front line of Marauders with Tinge. Marauders of Tinge backed up by single Chaos Warrior of Tinge here. Leadership, of course, Chaos Lord of Tinge with Skull of Catan Final Transmutation combo, plus a bit of Searing Doom this time to thin out enemy infantry support, I believe. Now, Aizen the Fallen, it is a massive monster piece, providing a kind of like a Fate of Buna-like spell, a bound ability, which can spread to nearby units as like kind of a chain hex, can do some good damage. Definitely acts like a mini Fate of Buna these days, and is slightly better than before, but we shall see if that is actually working in this battle or not. The only thing that can beat a Tinge Mirror is a Kislev Mirror, for sure. I haven't seen a Kislev battle for so long, because everyone just, either they don't want to play it, or they don't want to play against it. So, they just global ban in every single tournament battle. And that's why I don't really see Kislev much these days. But yeah, I personally don't play Kislev, because I don't like to play a very nice Searing Doom, by the way. Very nice Searing Doom onto the Iron Hail Gunners and Jade Warriors. A 2-for-1 cast, pretty much. Knocks out 1/3 of HP from the Jade Warriors, softening them up. But yeah, I personally don't like playing meta factions. I like playing like off-meta factions with meme choices. This is how I get my sustenance in the multiplayer battles. Just memeing, and yeah. But yeah, it looks like Stelios is shifting his army around there, but that might expose him to a lot of disoriented formation here. Is formation getting very mixed up and getting into a bit of a mess, which allows the Furies to just dive onto these Jade Lancers with some Zandago support, and yeah, these Jade Lancers are being picked off for free. Iron Hail Gunners are bursting at the Chaos Lord of Tinge here, but it's just a Foot Lord on a flying disc. It's not exactly a big target to shoot at, so a lot of shots just went missing and not actually knocking out his shields. While Zhao Ming just going YOLO into the Marauders of Xinqiu, doing some nice damage with the Dragon Breath earlier, but now another steering them onto 2 expensive Halberd units. Oh, pain, the pain. Look at how much damage it did to the Jade Warriors Halberds. It's a very cheap spell, by the way, so it's absolutely worth it to just bomb those Halberds like that. And yeah, Fury's disrupting Iron Hail Gunners, constantly like just making sure the Iron Hail Gunners of the Grand Cathay army are not in the state of freely shooting at anything nearby. Although these ones are reformed and now shooting into the Marauders of Xinqiu, disrupting their advance with the help of Zhao Ming, and now the Jade Warriors are in position to stop their charge. Very wisely, the Marauders decided to back off, allowing the Jade Lances to be picked. Allowing the Furies and the Thunderghosts to jump onto the Grand Cathay backline, picking off another unit of Jade Lances, or at least trying to do so right now. Iron Hail Gunners doing some nice damage to the Furies though. But another Fury's diving in from another angle. As they're too busy shooting at Furies on this side, the other Fury just comes in from behind, and they are now disrupted. Silence for now, but the melee attack buffs from the Jungle War Drum will keep those Iron Hail Gunners and Celestial Dragon God fighting and easily grinding down those Chaos Furies. And here comes a Final Transmutation and Skull of Catan boost. Is there a Skull of Catan boost? No, I don't see the Skull of Catan. No! What a missed opportunity! Yeah, that was a missed opportunity. Could have done a bit more damage to Zhao Ming. I guess it's not exactly needed right now, but it would have been nice to just burst his HP down a bit more. But yeah, right now, as Aizen the Fallen, I think he used his Maelstrom of Change already for a bit, but yeah, this would be a very good target to use the Maelstrom of Change if it is off cooldown right now. Furies are just silencing the Iron Hail Gunners. Yeah. And the Iron Hail Gunners are just freely shooting into the massive target that is the Aizen the Fallen there. Yeah, he really need that Maelstrom of Change to... Maelstrom of Change? Yeah, he really need that Chain Hacks onto the Iron Hail Gunners right now. Just to nuke down their HP and also just drain away the health of the other units right now. But yeah, I don't think he's gonna cast that anytime soon, which is unfortunate. He's just trying to slam around and disrupt the enemy. Is this another Final Transmutation? That was rather soon. The hell, man? Upgraded version. Oh, this is... Okay, the Skull of Catan has been activated. Oh, this is not an upgraded Final Transmutation. But yeah, the Skull of Catan is still activated to get a bit more damage out. But yeah, that was a missed opportunity, unfortunately. Not the best use of the Skull. It could have done better for sure, but it is what it is. Maelstrom of Change now very nicely spreading to multiple units at the same time and draining away the health of Iron Hail Gunners and the tattered Jade Lances and Jade Warriors, accruing quite a bit of value for sure. Aizen the Fallen with the change to the Maelstrom of Change. That is definitely not, no pun intended. But yeah, it's actually a decent piece of monster right now with all the direct damage. Zhao Ming is also getting low. Now, if the Siege army can get the rest of the Grand Cathay army low. Oh no, never mind. Yeah, Zhao Ming still managed to activate the Burning Vambraces, so it doesn't matter at this point. But yeah, the point right now is just to keep thinning out the rest of the Siege army. Chaos Warriors of Siege are duking it out against long spears, so they should be fine in that regard. The problem is how do they take down Zhao Ming? Chaos Lord of Siege will be the best bet in this scenario here. Thunderghosts are still roaming the battlefield, and Marauders should be able to do some pretty good grinding against these tattered Cathay forces. Chaos Lord of Siege needs to pull the hell back out of there and preserve his strength to get that decisive engagement against Zhao Ming. And Aizen the Fallen, I think he's still draining the health away from nearby Cathay units until he's now killed, so there's no more draining. Very cool death animation for the Vortex Beast, but yeah. The Vortex Beast is gone from the reality now. No more corpses on the ground. Very nice breath, Dragon Breath spell cast from Zhao Ming, by the way. Blasting away these poor Marauders, and yeah, it is a slugfest of Marauders and Chaos Warriors versus Peasants and Jade Warriors. Right now, Jade Warriors and Celestial... Okay, the Celestial Dragon God might be a problem in this case. Zhao Ming has turned back into his human form, ready to cast that Final Transmutation, I believe, as he couldn't do so in his dragon form. Although the Marauders... Oh, here comes the final transmutation. Either on... Oh, is it onto Zhao Ming? Is it onto Zhao Ming? No, it's onto the Chaos Warriors. And on top of the hitting the Chaos Lord of Siege, doing some really nice damage. And everything is taking a bunch of damage at the same time from the final transmutation. But Searing Doom counteracting that spell cast here, doing some damage in return to the blobbed up Cathay troops. Ball of Change entirely missing Zhao Ming. I think he knocked it over. It knocked him over, but not actually doing much damage. But now the Psycho Charge of the Xanagors are coming in quite handy. Nice Dragon Breath spell cast once again, but the Xanagor barrier blocked most of it. So Xanagors didn't quite take much damage from that scenario there. And now it seems like the Siege forces are slowly getting an upper hand in this long grind. Celestial Dragon Guard still fighting. They should turn that magic attack into a melee attack thing, or even more armor maybe, I don't know. But yeah, I don't know how much good is the magic attack imbuement to the Celestial Dragon Guard is doing, since most of these units are just Marauders. But yeah, either ways, it doesn't really matter now, as Zhao Ming is standing alone against the Chaos Lord of Siege. On a foot form, he should still be able to put up some good fight here, but he doesn't have much armor piercing. The anti-large bonus of the Chaos Lord of Siege doesn't really work against his foot form, but I don't think that matters anymore. Oh wait, no. I was totally missing out on these Jade Warriors with halberds and Jade Warriors regular ones as well. If they can fight shoulder to shoulder with Zhao Ming, the Grand Cathay army still stands a chance. Just to take over the capture point. They really need to do so, by the way, because the tickets are getting there, are getting close to that victory threshold. So Jade Warriors are rushing over to the capture point, trying to resecure it, but they also have to be careful of enemy Searing Doom. They don't want to be too blobbed up on this occasion here, but they're still trying their best and trying to just occupy the capture point. Change or Die is active, just giving all the Siege troops a little bit of damage, resistance, and also leadership to keep them in the fight longer, while buying more time for the Xanagors to Psycho Charge on. Jade Warriors are holding the line. They are definitely trying their best to fight off the Psycho Charges of the Xanagors. The Conquest point is slowly moving into the control of the Grand Cathay army, but can they make it in time? Psycho Charge is definitely taking a toll on the Grand Cathay army as their balance of power is dropping lower and lower. Zhao Ming is trying his best to push off the enemy advances, but the Psycho Charge might prove to be a little bit too much for the Jade Warriors. Their leadership is faltering, but nope, they stabilize. Another Psycho Charge from the Xanagors, but right now the Grand Cathay army actually slowly getting that victory ticket once again. Okay, not once again, but finally for the first time ever for the whole 9 minutes, Grand Cathay is getting victory tickets as they manage to secure the victory point with a ton of Jade Warriors. Okay, what can Siege do now to take back this capture point? They have roughly they have roughly 8 minutes. 8 minutes, yeah, roughly 8 minutes to figure this out. And we shall see. If there are more Searing Dooms, it might come in really handy for Siege. It is indeed a great final Contrarian Codex. But yeah, this is getting a little bit dicey for Siege. They can't just recklessly charge into melee combat. Zhao Ming is a very good, very oppressive melee threat still. But if anyone can take him on, that will be the Chaos Lord of Siege. He tries to deliver a melee attack in midair, but yeah, the Chaos Lord of Siege is a little bit too fast on his disc and managed to avoid it. Yeah. Computer is definitely taking a sweet time here, contemplating on how to take this fight. Now, Zhao Ming is getting quite aggressive, trying to pick off whatever free value he can get, but this might actually be a good chance for the Xanagors to countercharge to pin him down, and then the Chaos Lord of Siege can just countercharge and flood him with bodies. But right now, getting a nice hit with the Chaos Lord of Siege here onto Zhao Ming, but Zhao Ming fighting back, but balance of power getting dangerously close to army losses. It is indeed army losses, and that shall be victory for Siege. That is a little bit of an anticlimactic conclusion to the final, not gonna lie. I think Grand Cathay, if fought correctly, still stand a chance, but balance of power decided, no, you're out. Which is a little bit disappointing. If balance of power is not a thing, it will probably be better for Conquest mode, I would say. Like, computer can. Computer, if he made a mistake, might actually lose it to Zhao Ming there. But Zhao Ming definitely had a chance of dragging it back with a few proper melee attacks. If Stelios kept Zhao Ming on the ground instead of flying around in the sky, then Zhao Ming is a lot less likely to get isolated like that in the sky and get charged and swarmed by Furies and the Chaos Lord of Tinge. But alas, it is what it is, and that shall be victory of Tinge. Even if I do believe that Grand Cathay still stand a chance. But yeah, very nice performance from one of the Iron Hail Gunners. So Computer definitely did a great job at picking off enemy backline defenses, using those Zanagors and the Chaos Furies to charge those Straight Lancers and picking them off and denying Grand Cathay from their mobility support. A very great performance from very good performance from Zhao Ming on the Grand Cathay side. There, the other Iron Hail Gunners not so much. While the Tinge side, Final Transmutation and the Skull of Catan combo can definitely use a bit of work. Again, you need to cast Final Transmutation first, preferably the upgraded version. And then you activated the Skull of Catan to enhance your spell mastery to maximize your damage output. Because if you activate the spell mastery first, there will be seconds in which you're just winding up the spell, you're not actually doing the damage with Final Transmutation, and you're wasting the Skull of Catan. But other than that, very nicely played with the Tinge army here. The Zanagors, as usual, very solid mobility with armor-piercing values. The Marauders did a good job in just pressuring the enemy front line. And, yeah, Hasten the Fallen doing some absolutely solid job. With the Iron Hail Gunners disrupted by the Furies and the Zanagors, Hasten the Fallen was able to actually just get in there and start draining away the health of all of these tightly packed Grand Cathay units. And because the Grand Cathay army is so tightly packed, one Maelstrom of Change can affect multiple unit models of the Grand Cathay army because it is a chain hack, so it spreads to nearby units. Yeah, units nearby, close to the original unit that was hit by the Maelstrom of Change. So a very good use of the monsters and the spells. And yeah, that is it for the live casting section of today's tournament. Very good, well done from Computer there. GG to both players, and GG to everyone else playing on the tournament. Give me a second, I need to close the windows because for some reason I'm hearing fireworks and I need to outside or something. So I'm just gonna do that, and then we'll be moving on to the rest of the replay files. Yep, give me a quick second, and I'm also going to refill my water bottle, so I'll be back in a couple minutes. Alright, I'm back, and we are starting with the replays, the rest of the replays of the tournament. We do have quite a few to go through, but I might not be able to cast everything in detail because yeah, time is limited and I do have a lot to go through. So yeah, might be a little bit more hold on. Might be a little bit faster with my casting and less detailed, but yeah, let's just try and get everything done. And yeah, okay, we do have a lot of replays, so yeah, give me a second there. Where did we stop? I think, yeah, we last class Greenskins versus Tomb King, so we've got a bunch of battles over here, and these two are the live casting. I think we can delete this. Oh, I'll keep the Tinge Mirror for a bit in case I want to review it again. Okay, so we're starting from Tinge versus Dowie. Over here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 10, and then 3 more, and I think that's about it. So 13 more replays. Quite a few games to go through, but yeah, that means we have a lot of action to check. Oh no, Hero Hammer, but it's Ungrim Iron Fist. It's okay, I guess. All right, let's jump in. But yeah, big thanks to Big JP for organizing everything. It was it's great to like cast a tournament without needing to worry about any logistics issues. So appreciate it, and also thanks for hosting all these new tournament replays so the new players can have a great avenue to just test out their skills and try to get some experience in the multiplayer community. It is a very fun game to play in multiplayer after all. It's just a bit of niche, a little bit niche, and these kind of community events is just really important to get more active players to join our niche game mode. Anyways, army builds here. I forgot to check the player name, so yeah, I'm just gonna keep going. Anyways, for the army builds here, for Tinge army here, front line of Marauders, backed up by a couple of Flamers and a third line of Chaos Warriors, some heavy metal backline. And are we seeing a Tinge chariot today? My god, I haven't seen these things in ages. Nobody ever brings chariots as Tinge. What is this? Other than that, a bunch of mobility on the flanks here. Furies with Zandigals and more Zandigals with more Furies on the other side as well. For the Dowie here, 1 Vanguard deployed Grim Dwellers. This is risky. This is risky. They are just isolated here. If somebody spot them, like for example, these Furies flying over here, spot them, and then they can just quickly jump onto them, tie them down in melee, and the Zandigals can quickly jump over and finish them off. Other than that, Gyrocopter is a very risky choice against any Chaos faction, because you bet there's going to be Furies here in this matchup, just because Furies are so good at disrupting enemy missiles and whatnot. And yeah, Gyrocopters can't fight Furies. The Furies, all the Chaos player need to do is just to get a unit of Furies, stick it onto the Gyrocopter, and the Gyrocopter would never be able to fire at all, and would just have to constantly keep running away from the Fury for the whole game. And that will be available, that will be a worthy trade for the Chaos Furies, because it's a 650 gold unit versus 700 something, 800 gold unit. So yeah, it's not great for the Gyrocopter to be in this matchup at all. While the rest of the army here, miners with blasting charges, and then the Dwarf Warriors as a second line. So a lot of infantry. Long Drong Slayer Pirates. I usually read it and I'm like, wait, Long Dong? And then I'll do a double tick and, oh, wait, Long Drawn Slayer Pirate. Anyways, Ungrim Iron Fist leading the army with Gotrek. Oh, no Gotrek. Just Felix here. No, you can't separate Felix from his bro like that. Dragon Slayer as well. Dragon Slayer very cost effective as an anti-large fighter hero. Just really good at melee stats in general. The lack of armor doesn't really matter, since he will be fighting stuff with high armor piercing anyways, and he is a foot lord, so he can get knocked over and be slightly more immune to damage, and on top of that, very hard to target with missiles, so he is surprisingly survivable despite his lack of armor, and is still very, very good in melee fights. especially when there's something causing terror and he can just activate the Worthy Foe ability. Though there's no terror causing units in this battle, so he's not going to get his attack boost. Either way, 60 attack, 50 defense, very, very solid as a character. Actually, almost as good as on Grim, which is funny. But yeah, Grim Delvers actually missed out the first volley of the Grim Delvers. Immediately knocked out the shield on these Flamers of Siege here, but Marauders are quickly following up. And no, Grim Delvers, what are you doing? Back up! Okay, yep, they're falling back, running away from the Marauders. They do not want to be in there. Dragon Slayers should just jump over and kill them, the Flamers, instead of standing on top of the capture point. He's not doing anything right now, and he's in perfectly good position to chop down one or two of these Flamers and get some more damage output. But right now, Grim Delvers are going to get caught by the Ekron's Miners. No, not Ekron's Miners, by the Furies there. And actually getting pushed into... Wait, hold on. Do they have skirmish mode on? I don't know. I can't see it. But they might have skirmish mode on. You never want to turn on skirmish mode. Because what happens is something like this. The Grim Delvers are trying to pull back through their own infantry. Because, okay, they have skirmish mode on, right? The Marauders are pushing them back. But then the Furies are striking them from the other direction, which pushes the Grim Delvers back into the Marauders. Never do that. Never do that on your missile infantry. Don't turn on skirmish mode on your infantry ever. Turn on guard mode. That's what you need. But yeah, now the Grim Delvers are stuck in melee. Dwarf Warriors are now coming in to bail them out, but they're taking a bunch of friendly fire from the explosive charges. Explosive charges are being chucked in onto... This would be a good blob for explosive charges. Flamers are burning down some some Dowie, but they're too short. The fire just went straight over their head. They are too short. No, the Flamers are wasting their shots. Their targets are too short. Okay, I'm probably gonna be on the grudge boat at some point soon. But yeah, the height of the Dowie is giving them additional Flamer resistance, and they're not taking that much damage from the Flamers. And Dwarf Warriors are moving in and duking out against the Chaos Warriors, but Chaos Warriors are outclassing them. Oh no, the Long Drawn Slayer Pirate are completely out of position and will be ran down by Sendigos. And in the Skies Furies, as I said before, just need to stick one unit or two on them, on the gyrocopters, and they would just constantly chase down the gyros, and they would just never be able to fire and go all the way back onto the white line. Long Drawn Slayer Pirates are also taking some very solid impact damage, being charged by the Sendigos from the rear and braced. Yeah, they are getting slaughtered for sure. But yeah, the Flamers aren't just aren't doing jack shit. They're just shooting over the dwarfs. This is hilarious. Yeah, don't use Flamers against Dowie because they're too short. Yeah. I just find it very funny. Chaos Furies are moving on to the Grim Dwellers and are jumping down on them. Now this is a beautiful volley. Uphill, a downhill shot onto the Grim Dwellers here. Absolutely burning down the Grim Dwellers. Also a lot of friendly fire. Very literal sense, friendly fire onto the friendly Furies. Chaos Warriors are slowly grinding it out against Dwarf Warriors and getting a little bit of an upper hand. Where are the characters? Shit, where are the characters? Oh, the Chaos Sorcerer, Lord of Siege with Metal is got hunted down by Ungrim and his friends, but right now, definitely the Siege army is getting an upper hand here. Hey Turtle Bunch, how are you doing? Welcome to join us in this multiplayer stream of a new player Conquest tournament. We are checking out the replays right now, and these Sendigos are just having a field day, just cycle charging around the battlefield, running down Long Drawn Slayer Pirate, and Grim Delvers are being pushed off as well. The problem is, how do you finish off this triple characters? You need, like, as the Siege player, you really need to start securing the capture point soon before the characters come over and start decimating anything you fight. All of these I've played in a couple. Yeah. Well, welcome to check out some more action, and maybe you can have a little bit of a high quality entertainment here. But yeah, anyways, Marauders of Siege, Chaos Warriors, they are all trying to consolidate around the capture point and get that victory tickets. Flamers once again burning through a bunch of dwarfs, but mostly missing. Once again, they're just aiming too high. You know, the dwarfs are just doesn't have the height to get hit. This volley is better, and it's burning down a bunch of dwarfs. But yeah, not a lot of damage. Not a lot of damage against the dwarves here. Mostly missing due to aiming too high. Now the triple characters are coming in and starting to decimate some marauders. We are going to move into a fast forward phase as the siege army has more than enough mobility force to just pick off any routed dwarf units. It is down to these almost unbreakable trio. Well, Felix is breakable, but when you're fighting shoulder to shoulder against two unbreakable, very powerful single entities, you might as well just unless you can isolate Felix, then it's a different story. But Felix is using his healing to just keeping these friendly characters in the fight there. Oh no! Oh no! Felix is not sticking with the rest of the characters. He is isolated, and now it is a perfect opportunity to just send everything over to kill him. The two dwarf characters, big mistake here, just sitting aside, watching Felix die. And yeah, this is definitely not what you want to do. You want to keep Felix next to the other characters here, just duking it out against anything that comes in. Like, Felix provides the healing, and the two other characters kills whatever comes by. But allowing Felix to get isolated means that he is doing healing to himself, but there's nothing being killed. Although the Dragon Slayer is almost at heal cap, so the lack of healing doesn't matter anyways. And yeah, it's just going to be victory, ticket victory at this point, as the two characters can't really capture the point fast enough with enemy marauders and whatnot taking over the point. So yeah, very nice victory from Xin here. The mobility pressure really coming in really handy against a dwarf army that is unfortunately not really well equipped to deal with a Xin army. But yeah, I will probably just spam a bunch of rangers and get some... Ooh. A Doomseeker rush might be fun in this matchup. Just to rush. No, if the enemy goes a horror spam, it will be rough. But anyways, somehow the Chaos Chariot of Siege did some nice damage. Zandagors, as usual, do really well. Flamers getting some pretty good damage as well, which is surprising enough. You never see them do well in battle usually. But against dwarves, yeah, there's no cannons on the dwarf side. That is a mistake. You need it for dealing with either with flamers or just shooting like cavalry from afar. That would also be nice. But just have a little bit of a long range firepower to pressure those blue fire spammers, maybe even. But yeah, solid damage from the two Slayer characters, just that they couldn't do enough damage to matter in this game, as most of the rest of the army just got pushed back pretty hard by the enemy mobility and not quite able to carry their own weight, while the characters aren't exactly in the place to carry the day for them. Now we have a Beastman on the left side, elves on the right side. Well, the elves are going for an interesting army for sure. I don't think that meets the minimal troop count, but I think that's not a big issue. Anyways, well, TK Anarian playing as Beastman to fight High Elves. That is an ironic name if I see one. Yep, the High Elves definitely do not have enough troop count in the usual foot rules context, but I don't think there's a rule about troop count today. And yeah, there's no troop count in terms of this Conquest tournament, so that is allowed. Just that I'm not quite used to seeing such a small army. For the Beastmen here, front line of Angors with some gore herds. Yeah, just regular gore herds with their anti-infantry bonus, helping them cut through enemy infantry. Well, ironically, no infantry on the other side. More Angors at the back there. Zanagors with more... Zanagors, maybe? No? Oh, Zanagors in the forest. Yeah, Zanagors with more Zanagors and Santagors, regular Santagors, hiding in the forest. Vanguard deployed 2 units of Minotaurs with great weapons to hack down enemy cavalry and monsters. The Jabberslave to grind down enemy infantry, but once again, no infantry on the other side whatsoever. Malagor, the Dark Omen with Flock of Doom and Flock of Doom only. For the other side of the battlefield, for the very small High Elf army, a lot of White Lions, and then a couple Silver Helms. Freaking Tyrannok chariots with their magical missiles. I haven't seen these guys in a while. In the skies, 3 flying single entities. No healing. Okay, I'll allow this small army since they didn't bring any healing. That is yeah, but either ways, you still want healing usually, you know, just to keep your monsters topped up. But yeah, Imric on his Minafnir, I think that's the name of his dragon, and then Frostheart Phoenix plus a Moon Dragon. We'll do some fast forward here. Flock of Doom draining away the health of the War Lions, doing some decent damage. War Lions jumping into combat against Angkor Spears, not exactly the best target for them. You probably want to just go send those single entities in first to break the bracing of the enemy units. Oh, the counter charge of the Minotaurs absolutely demolishing these poor War Lions in combat. Kitty cats taking so much pain. Oh, man, phone PETA. This is the one time PETA might be useful. Look at the animal abuse over here. This is animal abuse. Throwing those War Lions into combat like that. No. But yeah, on the flank there, Tyrannok chariots getting caught up by the Senegals, which are, I think, slightly faster than the Tyrannok chariots. So yeah, Tyrannok chariots getting immediately demolished. Wait, what is this? A breath attack onto Malagor. Definitely not a good choice. Breath attacks, especially Moondragon's breath attacks, are better against static targets. Moondragon attacks, you can like throw it in from like an angle onto this blob of infantry would definitely be the better choice. But otherwise, the Beastmen are just going to dominate the battlefield, quickly breaking the War Lions and Tyrannok chariots. Senegals have no issue picking off the Tyrannok chariots, having more than enough speed to catch up to the relatively slow vehicles of the High Elves. And then the Dragons are fighting strong, but single entities wise, if they're getting surrounded by Minotaurs with great weapons, they're still gonna get chopped up, no questions asked. Although if the single entities are fighting back to back, there might be a little bit more trouble. But yeah, Driver's Life comes in for a charge attack. Minotaurs are surrounding and beating down the single entities, and that shall be GG, as Imric himself is getting surrounded as well. The Tyrannok chariots are gone, so Senegals are free to just come in and pin down the mighty dragon. Yeah, there's not much to say about this battle, unfortunately. Such a small army renders you at a very big risk of getting surrounded and overwhelmed by enemy units. You need those models for to support your single entities and whatnot to prevent this kind of stuff from happening. Another battle, another Beastman versus a High Elf battle. This time, slightly more balanced army. Beastmen not going once again. TK and Arian fighting against freaking Beastmen, against High Elves. Very ironic once again. A guy named Corvus also doesn't have the minimum amount of mage as usual. It's probably fine. Yeah, it is. Corvus going very gutsy with the no mage build. But yeah, Vanguard deployment army from the Beastmen here is getting right on top of the Vanguard point, from the capture point. So we're going into slow-mo here. Goreherd in the front line with some Pestigals and yeah, 2 Pestigals, Angora Spears, and more Goreherds, and then a lot of mobility here. Sandagals plus regular Sandagals mixed in together. Great weapon, Minos, and then in the skies, Malagor the Dark Omen with only Flock of Doom, which will be more effective against so many spears this time. Spears. I believe Silverian Guards. Yeah, Silverian Guards mixed in with spears, backed up by Loven, Seaguard, and the Fireborn. Leading the army, we have a Mage of Death with a Star Dragon. No healing for the Star Dragon. That is rather peculiar. We shall see what happened here. Doom and Darkness and yeah, no, this is a Aspect of Dread Knight and a Fate of Buna here. Yeah, I swear, I might have mistaken Fate of Buna for Doom and Darkness. I know this is Aspect of Dread Knight, but yeah, anyways, Fate of Buna plus Aspect of Dread Knight here for the spells. I am not quite sure about this spell combo, but let's see what happens here. Illyrian Reaver Archers to provide some skirmishing firepower, but we shall see what happens. Pestigals should have no issue cutting down Silverian Gods, or at least getting some damage done onto Silverian Gods, but if the Fireborn are here to support and just run them over, this might be a bit rough for them. Actually, Pestigals are going after the regular spears, which they can definitely do fine against with their 33 charge bonus. Yeah, definitely nothing to scoff at for an infantry unit. Loven and Seaguard are starting to fire into the Pestigals, who does have a little bit of missile resistance to tank damage. Goreherds, they do have anti-infantry bonus and quickly cutting down spears. Although the Star Dragon here is trying to stabilize the front line here, terrifying the first unit of Pestigals. Fireborn did charge into the Pestigals for a bit there, but they're quickly pulling back and try to counteract enemy Sandagals. However, 2 units of Sandagals are coming in, which might be a bit too much for the Fireborn to deal with. A lot of armor piercing, a lot of magic attacks as well, which basically bypass all defenses that the Fireborn are relying on, and you can see how much damage they're taking in an instant. The shock damage on this Fireborn quickly taking them down, and remember, this is a high elf army without any Earthblood or regrowth to heal them. So all the damage on the Fireborn is permanent, unrecoverable, and yeah, this is a very key loss. They routed off the one unit of Sentinels, but at what cost? Half a unit of Fireborn is gone, and now the Minotaurs are are setting off on invading into the back line and running down the Lothern Sea God. Lothern Sea God might have spears to protect themselves, but yeah, they're still not doing too hot in this instance. Fireborn and the Star Dragon are fighting back though, and dragging down all these Sentinels of Tsinchir with the mighty melee power of the Star Dragon. But Minotaurs with great weapons are in with their anti-large bonus and armor piercing. They can kill off both the Fireborn and Star Dragon with relative ease. Now the Sentinels here being run down by a bunch of Elaren Reaver archers, so yeah, nothing. Although some of them are still very much healthy, roaming around. But yeah. Oh, actually, yeah, still some Sentinels roaming around the battlefield, relatively healthy. But the problem is that the Minotaurs are here for. Yeah, the Minotaurs are here, and the problem for the High Elves is that they don't have much HP left on the Fireborn. Now, sandwiched between Sentinels and Minotaurs, these Fireborn are not long for this world. Star Dragon is still trying to stabilize the back line, but the front line of the spears are slowly resecuring themselves, grinding through the Gorehurts and Ungors, and actually managing to hold on pretty fine. Even the Pestigors, after getting shot by archers, they're just not in a great shape to grind down enemy spears. The Sylvan Guards and regular spears just have too much melee defense for them to deal with, I believe. Now the Lothern Sea God backline are being disrupted by Gorehurts, while the Minotaurs are still trying to roam around the battlefield. Fireborn is almost finished off, so they're pretty much out for the count. But the Star Dragon is still very much healthy, and the Beastmen don't really have an answer to that other than get those goddamn great weapon Minotaurs over here and give him a proper beatdown. But right now, the Elaren Reaver archers are doing a good job chasing off some tattered Sentinels. Yeah, doing a really good job in that, actually. They're oh, well, actually, no. These Sentinels are chasing after the Elaren Reaver archers. Ooh, okay, this is a bit rough for them, because Sentinels with their great weapons do have enough speed to catch up with their charge acceleration active. And these Elaren Reaver archers will probably be gone soon. Has the Star Dragon used any of his breath attack? Used up one, so he definitely needs to use more. This blob would be a nice target, but yeah, anyways, Malagor is going after the Archmage, while the Fireborn is back here and trying to do a little bit more contribution to the battle and wreck these poor Gorehurts. But yeah, there are too many Beastmen on the battlefield. If the Star Dragon, unless the Star Dragon can miraculously kill off these Minotaurs, I don't see a way for the High Elves to win this. Wait, Minotaurs, what are you doing? Get over here and cut down the Star Dragon. Anyways, we'll do a bit of fast forward. It's a bit of a slugfest. Star Dragon jumping on into the Beastmen troops and from the rear, and now the Minotaurs are jumping onto him, and I give him a good proper surround and start beating him down. Fate of Buna onto one of the Minotaurs, draining their health away. Spears reconvening with a bunch of Elaren Reavers. Now the Minotaurs are trying to countercharge the Elaren Reavers, but then just charge into the spears instead. And now a breath attack, a really nice one as well, ripping apart some of these remaining Minotaurs, though the spears are not holding for long for the High Elf army. Star Dragon tried to go after the Gorehurts that are guarding the capture point, but the Minotaurs quickly jump onto him and got pushed off. And now he's trying to cycle charge the Beastmen infantry. Terror routed the Pestigors, doing some pretty good work, but every time he jumps in, the Minotaurs follow and start doing damage to him. Yeah, that is probably soon gonna be it. Well, Fate of Buna though, getting some good damage done onto the Minotaurs, but the Beastmen are just closely guarding that capture point. Star Dragon trying desperately to cycle charge and rout off those Beastmen infantry, but the Minotaurs are not letting him get away this time. The Star Dragon goes down, and that shall be victory for the Beastmen once again. Minotaurs definitely a really good tool to counteract enemy cavalry and monsters. I do think that not bringing any healing for the Fireborn and Star Dragon might have been a mistake there. If the Star Dragon got some healing, he definitely could have done a lot more. And on top of that, Fireborn, despite taking so much damage initially from the Xanagors, they managed to beat back the Xanagors through prolonged melee combat and the support of a Star Dragon. And still getting some pretty solid value. Almost earning, I think, they almost earned back their cost even. But unfortunately, no healing, and the rest of the High Elf army doesn't really pull up their own weight in this scenario. Spirit Leech against Minotaur would probably be more cost efficient than Fate of Yuna, I would say, but yeah, very nice damage from the Gorehurts though, with their anti-infantry bonus against the enemy spears, though they still got dragged down over time by the terror and a missile combination from the High Elves. Yeah. GG. Nice Flock of Doom onto the High Elves as well from Malagor the Dark Omen. Alright, High Elves versus Norska. I don't see any Familiar here, which is a bit disappointing for a Familiar enthusiast like myself. But yeah, let's see what they can do here. They do have a lot of Marauder champions, which theoretically can tank missiles for days with their bronze shield and heavy armor. Leading the army, Throg the Troll King, supported by a Death Caster, a bunch of regular Marauders, one of them the Icehorn Marauders with their immune to psychology, I believe. If I remember correctly, they have immune to psychology. Yes, they do, and a Perfect Vigor as well. Other than that, Marauder champions, 4-3, is it? Do I have to say that? It's indeed 4 Skin Wolves. Yes, it is that. Yeah, anyways, Throg the Troll King, supported by the what's Deathcaster's spell, actually? Let me just find him and check. Spirit Leech and Spirit Leech only. For the mobility, we have some Norskin Warhounds on the far corners of the battlefield. And that's it for the... Oh, actually, Throg did bring his Vomit attack. And also Fight or Die for melee attack buffs. That's it for the Norskin army. For the High Elf army, a front line of Phoenix Guards supplied with a bunch of spears. Backed up by a bunch of archers with a single Talons of Torquelada. To amplify the fire weakness, I believe, with the Archmage of Fire coming in with Burning Head and Fireball, which the flammable effect would be really nice to just stack on top of all those fire damage. Illyrian Reavers and a more spear at the back there. No mobility whatsoever. Okay, some mobility. Silver Helms here. Charging into the Norscan Warhounds. Should have no issue dispatching all those puny... Actually, yeah, other than Illyrian Reavers, also Silver Helms, and yeah, should have no issue dispatching those puny Warhounds. We'll speedrun this marching phase a bit and get through a little bit of a boring phase of the battle. Archers are firing in and chipping away the health of the Skin Wolves, but the Skin Wolves definitely have more than enough healing to recover. A little bit of Burning Head. The Marauders are trying to pull back and dodge it, but it just curved and still burned them regardless. A little bit unfortunate there. Phoenix God should be able to dispatch the Marauders with no problems. They're, after all, one of the most elite melee infantry in the game. Even with their anti-large specialty, that doesn't mean the Marauders, regular Marauders, can challenge them in combat. Skin Wolves are trying to flank around, but they're just going to run into spears. Very unfortunate for them. Oh no, are you running? They're running into the Phoenix Guards. No, what are you doing? No, pull back. Oh. No, these Skin Wolves are going to die, especially when they're shot by a flammable missile. Marauders are breaking upon the spears like waves breaking upon the rocks on the shore. So even the freaking Skin Wolves are getting slaughtered. That big mistake there with the micro. Unfortunate there. I would say Wolfrig is definitely a way better choice in this matchup, just because his bolt can do some really good damage to enemy spears. I wouldn't bring Frog in the matchup against the High Elves, because you need Wolfrig's bolt to kill off the enemy front line. Yeah. And the Marauder champions, they might be good in melee, but they take too long to punch through the Silvern Guard and all that. Silvern Guard and Phoenix Guard both have over 50 melee defense. And the 30-something melee attack of the Marauder champions are not even close to enough in breaking those apart. What you need is probably... My usual anti-High Elf build would be 2 Marauder champions, 2 Marauders, and then 2 Familiar Warriors. Familiar Warriors are really good at tanking enemy missile fire, and then combined with, say, Marauder champions, they can steadily grind through enemy front line without without being that worried about burning heads. Marauders are trying to sneak into the back line here, but yeah, there's only one unit of them, and there's silver helms ready to just jump onto them and countercharge. Also, archers, they can hold on for a bit against the against enemy melee, and then the mage of fire come in with the moon dragon charge, and the marauders are probably gonna be off soon. Flork also sitting there for a little bit too long, being shot by archer fire. He doesn't have the most armor, so taking quite a bit of damage from that. Yeah, that is probably going to be GG for Norska, as their marauder infantry are slowly getting ground down by enemy pointy sticks of various shapes and sizes. Another burning head burning down the marauder champions, but because of their heavy armor, they're taking less damage from that. But yeah, the marauders are buckling, and the skin wolves are stuck too long in combat against spears and silver helms alone, and then they're just getting picked off, and skin wolves are trying to run down the archers here, but archers are firing at them. Phoenix guards are nearby. They're just taking too much damage from the pointy sticks. Staunch line of spear does win the day through their sheer tenacity, and yeah, very good damage from the archers as well. Talons of Torquelada, especially with that flammable damage against the skin wolves with fire weaknesses as well. Burning Hats did some good kills as well, while the Norskin army unfortunately made a little too many mistakes with the micro there. The skin wolves charging into spears, warhounds getting caught by silver helms. It's just a bit too much, and that will be a victory for the high elves. Next up we have Khorne versus Tomb Kings with double Necrosphinx. Interesting army choices here from Larry 2903, but the Sphinx of Uzkev's fire resistance will come in quite handy to tank damage from the fire damage of the Khorne army, like Valkyria, who does have fire damage. Anyways, for the army builds here for Khorne, the front line of Marauder Rush, regular Marauders mixed in with dual weapon Marauders. Some Khorne warriors with halberds, haven't seen these guys in ages, because you never bring these guys. They're just heavy infantry. Halberds, they do good damage, don't get me wrong, but you don't really need those when you have better anti-large armor piercing options, like, for example, the Minotaurs of Khorne. In the sky, some Chaos Furies of Khorne and Valkyria the Bloody leading the army. For the Tomb King's army, there's some skeleton warriors surrounding Chosen of the Gods and a Bone Giant. Very typical choices from Larry 2903 there. Sphinx of Uzkev plus a Necrosphinx, and also Arcane the Black, protected by 2 Tomb Prints on foot. Or actually, the Tomb Prints on foot are just going to supplement the front line. They're not actually protecting Arcane the Black. Arcane the Black, of course, coming in with his Skeleton Summons and a Spirit Leech and Fate of Buna. That's it for army builds. Now let's get the battle started. We are going into fast forward mode once again. Chosen of the Gods, no doubt, will start. Oh wait, what are you doing? You're walking up too far ahead. Close point blank shot on to the Marauders, but that also means the Furies have an easier time to jump onto them without anything to protect them. Minotaurs of Khorne also rolling into the backline, straight up ignoring the skeletons, and are chopping down those Chosen of the Gods. Spirit Leech on the Valkyria the Bloody, but Valkyria just tanking the shot. Doesn't really take that much damage, being a Khorne unit with spell resistance. Furies disrupting the Bone Giant at the back there. Chosen of the Gods taking a lot of damage, losing 2 unit models. Furies jumping into the melee fight as well. Khorne Bulls surrounding the Sphinx of Uzkev, threatening to take it down, pick it apart with their anti-large armor piercing. The other Necrosphinx would be great if he can just charge in and give the Minotaurs of Khorne a piece of his thought, but looks like he has more appetite for the regular Marauders of Khorne instead, trying to use that splash damage to do more impact damage onto the Marauders. A nice spear Slopnir though, thinning out the skeleton support of the Tomb King's army, and the Marauders have no issue decimating the spears at all, since they are very good damage dealing unit, especially the ones with dual weapons. Although Valkyria is in a bit of a pickle though, being surrounded by 2 Sphinxes, 2 Necrosphinx, and that is a lot of damage coming in. There might not be anti-infantry bonus here, but that is still a lot of attack stats of 61 on this guy, and 49 on the regular one, and 61 on the Sphinx of Uzkev. The Demon Shield is keeping Valkyria alive for now, and the Minotaurs of Khorne are piling onto the Sphinx of Uzkev, chopping it down, now down to a quarter of his HP, and yeah, the Necrosphinx, the Sphinx of Uzkev, probably not going to last for long. Arcane the Black as well, surrounded by another unit of Khorne Bull, and there's a 3rd unit of Khorne Bull here, actually. So the Sphinx of Uzkab is getting dismantled back into his its inanimated form, quickly crumbling back into a pile of trash, while Arkan the Black absolutely getting destroyed by all these angry cows. A lot of angry cow noises, and yeah, that is probably gonna be the end of Arkan the Black, and we are gonna fast forward as the corn bulls are piling in, and a beautiful sort of corn smashing these skeleton spear support. Not that there are any more skeleton spears or any skeletons around here, in fact, as these guys are crumbling back to dust, and this was the last healthier skeleton spears remaining. Without any spears support, no infantry support, Arkan the Black and the Bone Giant are extremely exposed to the surround of Corn Bull. Spear Leech and the Bone Giant shot are thinning out the HP of Valkyr the Bloody though, but with the rest of the Corn Marauders still online and all the Corn Bulls still fighting strong, there's no chance for the Tomb King's army to win this one back. As yeah, the Necro Sphinx, one of them did great, chopping down the health of Valkyr by quite a lot, but the Necro Sphinx, Sphinx of Uzkab here, surrounded by Corn Bulls, taking a lot of damage in the process. Also, the missile units, a little bit of mistake with the Chosen of the Gods micro there, advancing a little bit too far ahead in the melee fight. No, not in the melee fight, but before the melee fight began. Advancing too far ahead, and instead of maximizing the benefit of its range to shoot down enemies from afar, so taking a lot of damage, immediately getting caught by enemies in melee combat. So yeah, not great for them. While on the other side, the Corn Bulls did so much damage, absolutely slaughtering the Sphinx of Uzkab and the Necro Sphinx as well. The Corn Halberds doesn't really need to do much here, since most of the carrying was pretty much done by the Corn Bulls, really. Yeah, very nice performance from the Corn Bulls, and we moving on to the next fight. Beastman versus Singe. Once again, we are seeing some Changebringer. Wait, have we seen this one? No, we've definitely not seen this one yet. Okay, cool. Yeah, I remember some Xanagos being burned down by Changebringers, but that was in the semifinal, so it doesn't matter. Alright, we are slowing down. But yeah, Beastman does have some struggle dealing with aerial units, so Changebringers can be quite devastating against them. A really nice box. An elite box of Chosens, plus some Marauders with spears, guarding, supported by the Severed Claw and the Chaos Saucer of Singe with Metal Magic, and of course Final Transmutation and Skull of Katam combo. Furies in the skies protecting the Changebringers, plus a single Chaos Lord of Tinge. Now, the box build usually would be good against regular Beastman troops, but against Malagor the Dark Omen, this is a bit risky here, because Malagor the Dark Omen does have a really nice anti-blob spell, and that is the Flock of Doom. Upgraded version can do some quite decent damage. There is a Tinge Barrier to block off a lot of that damage, but still, it adds up over time, and yeah, all Beastman needs to do is just sit back and jump in with the Jabber's Life occasionally to drain away the health of the Marauders and whatnot, do some charge impact damage, and that probably will kill off all the Tinge infantry over time. And yeah, this is going to be a risky move, getting so many infantry in an elite blob like that against Beastmen. On the other side of the battlefield for the Beastmen here, our front line of Gore has mixed in with spears, just like usually what TK and Arian would do, and some Angor spears at the back there, multiple Minotaurs with great weapons, some Xanagors and Xanagors, plus a Jabber's Life, and leading the army Malagor, the Dark Omen, of course dropping in those flocks of Doom. In disguise there, Malagor is trying to avoid being caught up by the Chaos Lord of Tinge, while the rest of the Tinge infantry are moving on to the capture point, trying to secure it as soon as possible. Furies keeping on that pressure onto Malagor the Dark Omen. This is where Malagor should probably just jump down onto the ground and either lure enemies to chase him onto the ground and allow the Xanagos and whatnot to like catch them, or yeah, pretty much that would be a best choice actually. Anyways, Jabber's Life charging in while the Changebringers absolutely burning down those poor Xanagos. Oh no, don't pull those Xanagos next to the white line. As soon as they route towards the white line and will never come back. No, don't do that. Okay, say bye-bye to these Sandigos, I suppose. They're going en route straight to the white line, never coming back as soon as one model hit the white line. Now the Murders of Tinge here are, and the Chosens are holding on to this blob, but Beastmen here pushing those spears right in front of the capture point, preventing the Tinge army from getting on top of the capture point, and on top of that, just dropping in. Oh no! Final transmutation. Is there a Skull of Katem activating? Yes, there is, and doing a lot of damage to the surrounding Beastmen troops. But unfortunately, none of these are single entities, so not really maximizing the value available from the final transmutation. Good news is that the Chainbringers are here, and they are free to fire in anything on the Beastman side. There is no missiles on the Beastman side whatsoever, no Angkor Raiders. Even a single unit of Angkor Raiders can make a bit of a difference to push off the Changebringers. But right now, the Changebringers are free to fire and annihilate, incinerate anything on the Beastman side. Sandigals, Angors, Gores, they are just going to get burned down. And the Jabberslav took a lot of damage when surrounded by the Chosen. So yeah, not too good, not too great for the Beastman side here, as the Chainbringers is just doing so much damage to their army. Malagor can do really good damage with this Doom and Flock of Dooms over this blob of infantry over time. The problem is that the Chainbringers aren't gonna give him this kind of time. So yeah, this might actually be a Tinge victory, as they slowly grind through all the Beastmen infantry there. Jabberslav, the Jabberslav health drain doesn't activate until a unit has their leadership lowered to less than half. So unfortunately, these are Chosen, so it's pretty damn hard to lower their leadership down to half or less when they're still almost full health or half health and above. So yeah, all these Beastmen troops are routing, and Furies are free to just chase them down. Changebringers continues to burn through the HP of and final transmutation onto Minotaurs as well. Just a lot of damage coming in without needing the Beastmen to go into melee, and without needing the team to go into melee against the Beastmen. So getting a lot of value in that regard, burning down the Minotaurs and Sandigos and pretty much everything on the Beastman's side. So as a result, the Tinge army was able to secure victory with the Chosen holding the ground, and the Beastmen not having any good ways to quickly work through the HP of the Chosens, just falling victim. The Tinge army, the Beastmen not having any good ways to work through the Chosens and the Chosen and Marauder Spear box, meaning that the Changebringers are free to just burn through the Beastmen units, as the Beastmen don't have any aerial threat or any anti-air firepower today. The only thing that can fight things in melee is Malagor the Dark Omen here. The problem is he doesn't really want to get into melee, as the Chaos Lord of Tinge and the Chaos Furies are free to surround him and beat him up. So yeah, a bit rough for the Beastmen in this battle, as they don't really have any good anti-air options. Especially not in this battle here. Next up is High Elf versus High Elves. We have 6 more battles, so let's just go back in here. High Elves, this one, interesting. Neither of them is using the strongest Lord choices, I don't believe. Random Cuban, going for a Ranger and Phoenix Guard spam. While Corvus Glaive, once again not bringing caster. Really staying true to his no caster approach. I don't think I've ever seen him bring caster. But anyways, slow down time, and then we go into the army build. For Random Cuban here, there's a bunch of light armored rangers, a couple of 3 units of Phoenix Guards holding the line, and then Ever Queen's Court Guard and regular archers flanking the elite Sisters of Avalon. Rahagra's Pride plus War Lions of Trace, Silver Helms with shields. Corvus deserved the corn title for not using magic, basically, yeah. Or a compliment from stuff like Black Templars and stuff for hating wizardry. Archmage of Shadows with Malkoth's Mystifying Miasma and Penumbro's Pendulum. On the other side of the battlefield, a staunch line of spear indeed with, is there any Silvern Guard? Yes, indeed there is, and some Sword Masters of Hoev, 2 of them in fact, and they should trade well into the Phoenix Guard. And then leading the army of princes on foot too. So one of the cheapest version of High Elf leadership available. With the Horn of Val to boost missile damage, I assume to boost the Sisters of Avalon missile damage. And what else are we seeing here? Volley of high arrows, martial prowess. That doesn't really matter. Talisman of Loak to boost her own melee attack and base weapon damage, which doesn't really matter here. She's a foot lord and is not exactly the best one at fighting. So yeah, not exactly the most meta loadout. And of course Corvus Glaive, once again not bringing any spellcasters, so rather peculiar choices on the battlefield today. Larian Reavers on the flanks there. Alright, hold on. Let me just get some water. I think I'm, for some reason, getting some hiccups. Alright, cool. Let's just keep going now. Yeah. Larian Reavers from Corvus Glaive here, charging into the Rangers, trying to do some cheeky frontal charge impact damage, but they're quickly getting shredded in melee combat and also being shot by Sisters of Avalon. Sisters of Avalon from the other side is just peppering these archers with devastating firepower. Especially they have a little bit more range, I believe. Oh no, same range as the archers, but they did get the drop on them, so getting some very solid damage. Now they're switching targets over to the Phoenix Guards. Phoenix Guards clashing into spears, but something needs to be done about the Sword Masters of Hoev, since they can actually fight cost efficiently into Phoenix Guards. It's a lot of light effects going on from both sides. Everqueen's Court Guard have a slightly different light effects with their missiles. So yeah, a little bit of light effects going on all over the place. Nice penumbral pendulum onto the Sisters of Avalon, but it doesn't really kill off their models. So there's still 74 of them standing strong, starting to get damage into the Phoenix Guards as they are stuck on Sword Masters and Silver Guard, unable to advance towards the enemy backline there. Sisters of Avalon here are taking a lot of damage though, being peppered by archers and Sisters of Avalon on the other side by the Everqueen's Court Guard, while the spears are trying to hold on against the Phoenix Guard spams. Swordmaster is getting some good damage against the Rangers, and but yeah, the Sisters of Avalon on Corvus Glaive's side is being picked apart by the sheer volume of firepower from the archers and Sisters of from the Everqueen's Court Guard. And Corvus Glaive doesn't have anything to deal with the Sisters of Avalon on the other side and archers on the other side of the battlefield, having a lack of mobility. Only one unit and is stuck fighting a bunch of enemy Silverhelms and Rangers. His spears, Corvus Glaive's spears are pushing up, but yeah. At least the Swordmasters of Hoev are trading nicely into the Phoenix Guards, though they are being shot by the Everqueen's Court Guard and being charged by the Rahaga's Pride. That's a lot of anti-armor damage, and yeah, I think Corvus Glaive once again will be losing on this one, especially when the Swordmasters of Hoev, his best damage dealing damage output unit, is getting hammered by getting reaped by the Penumbral's Pendulum. So yeah, that is probably, we can probably fast forward as Corvus Glaive's melee army is slowly getting grind down to death. Silverhelms here being shot up and grind down by the Rangers as well, and then Swordmasters are faltering on both sides. They are now trying to chase after the Phoenix Guards, but the Phoenix Guards are just refusing to fight them, while the Everqueen's Court Guard are shooting them to pieces. And yeah, that should be it. That is one more game of the Corvus Glaive, the Khorne army, the Khorne player. Not actually playing Khorne, but pretty much playing like Khorne, with no spell casting whatsoever. But unfortunately, not bringing spellcasting really hamstrung him. And the Swordmasters fighting on top of the Silvern Guard means that a lot of their unit models aren't able to come in contact with enemy Phoenix Guards, so aren't actually doing damage there. And not getting the best contact with the enemy units and are losing out a lot of damage potential, as a result not doing that much damage. The Sisters of Avalon also targeting, unfortunately, the wrong targets, allowing the Everqueen's Court Guard and the enemy regular archers to just shoot them to pieces. So a bit unfortunate there. The Rahaga's Pride doing a lot of damage, chasing down enemy units and whatnot. charging in the front line, chasing down Sword Masters, getting a lot of value as a result. Phoenix Guards holding strong, while the rest of the army over here on the other side, yeah, not doing a lot of damage. And that will be GG. Next up, Tinge versus a lot of Empire missiles. That is a lot of missile spam for sure. Computer versus King of the Hoots. With almost a full missile spam army here. But let's see what happens here. I don't think they're allowed to bring Carmine Dragon in this format. Wait, no. You can no, they are allowed Carmine Dragon. Never mind. Carmine Dragon is allowed probably because how expensive it is. So yeah, we are seeing Carmine Dragon. Let's go through the army builds first. For the Tinge army, front line of Blue Horrors, second line of Pink Horrors, very typical stuff, and then Furies supporting some Screamers. There are some Tandagors on the ground, providing a Vanguard forces and Zangors on the flank as well. There's a lot of missile troops over here for... Oh wait, forgot about the spell casting actually. Kairos Fate Weaver with the Gaze of Fate to pin down enemy units, and also Oracle of Eternity for damage resistance. For spells, Penumbral Pendulum and Blue Fire of Tinge on the other side of the battlefield for the Empire front line of Free Company Militia with their cheap pistol shots. I don't know if they can actually trade well into the Blue Horrors, because Blue Horrors have 160 unit models while Free Company Militia only have 120, and the Blue Horrors have better missile damage than them, so they're actually gonna get out damaged by the Blue Horrors. That would be quite unfortunate. There's also a bunch of Hawkland Long Rifles who are now trying to snipe Kairos Fate Weaver, not doing the most damage since Kairos is flying around and juking shots, while there's also some great cannons also trying to snipe Kairos. A lot of firepower going into Kairos, but not doing much damage, while the Blue Horrors are mostly advancing through enemy firepower unscathed. Outriders on the flank there, and Elspeth von Draken is riding her Carmine Dragon with Purple Son of Zerus, dropping in that... dropping it now of Amental, trying to pin down Kairos and just keep firing at him. But being a bird model, he is rather finicky to shoot at and land shots on. Just not taking much damage, especially with Scroll of Eternity turned on. Boosting his damage resistance to a whopping 64. 44 ward save plus 20% physical resistance means that all these missiles are not doing jack shit against him, or at least doing very minimal. While Carmine Dragon being pinned down by the Gaze of Fate and just getting showered by a light show of Tinge missile, all that blue and pink warp flame raining onto her, taking a ton of damage, ignoring her physical resistance as well. So very unfortunate that they're taking a ton of damage. Free Company Militia trying to move up, but Furies diving down onto them, and all this mobility are free to just swarm these unprotected artillery, really. Although Kairos Fate Weaver did take a lot of damage. Damn. Actually, let's replay this. Let's quickly replay this. We only have 4 more replays left anyway, so that's like what, roughly half an hour to an hour of casting. So I think we can afford a little bit of replay. After that, I'm just gonna go and make dinner and chill after the stream. But yeah, right now we can do a little bit more. We can do a little bit more streaming, and we can afford a little bit of rewind. What about in melee? Sorry. What about melee? I didn't quite catch it. But yeah. Oh, the Amen talk is still going on. It's quite a long duration of spell. So okay, yeah, a lot of damage came in from the Hawkland Long Rifles and great cannons, and we're definitely missing out on some shots landing on Kairos Fate Weaver as the shield he was having was no longer active, and he no longer had that 44%. The Oracle of Eternity doesn't last long enough for him to mitigate all the damage that keeps coming in. The problem is that there's nothing to protect the backline missiles like that. So while this might be a very good campaign build to shoot up enemy targets, this is not a great multiplayer build where there's nothing to protect your missile units from getting swarmed by enemy mobility. The front line of Free Company Militia is getting absolutely lit up by the pink and blue warp flames, and then all these great cannons are gone in a second. The laser breath of Elspeth was not being used. Kairos, after taking a lot of damage from the Hotline rifles, is just retreating out of range. And Elspeth couldn't get a good shot on him either. And yeah, we'll be fast forwarding this till the end, as the Hotline rifles are just getting run over by a bunch of very cunning Zandagors. And then Elspeth is trying to get some fights against the horrors, but every time she dives onto one of the horrors, the other horrors will just surround her and shoot her to death with a bit of a crossfire. So GG to both players, and that is going to be quite an easy victory for Zinj here. Getting a very solid pick off, very easily picking off all those mobility, not mobility, those missile troops. And despite some really good damage dealt to Kairos, that is just not quite enough there. Yeah, GG. Next up, we have Time with his Zinj army versus the High Elves of Random Cuban. Alright, Time going for a once again, I believe it's the Skull of Catan and Final Transmutation combo, I believe. Let us slow down. We're seeing a lot of Final Transmutation and Skull of Catan combo here, so I just assume it will be the case, and it is indeed the case here. Searing Doom also available on the battlefield for a bit of anti-infantry damage, especially against spears and whatnot, and then spears and archers actually. Front line of Zangors, second line of Chromatic Abominations and Chaos Warriors of Zinj with Halberds, and then Sour Guts. A bunch of Zandagors, and then in the sky some Furies leading the army. Zinj Lord, providing some solid anti-large armor piercing damage. We've seen the Chaos Sorcerer of Zinj of Metal Magic. On the other side, a front line of Spears, second line of Sword Masters of Hoeth, and then a third line of Archers, one of them the Everqueen's Court God, once again from Random Cuban, the Rahagra's Pride, and regular War Lions, 1 Silver Helms, and yeah, that's it for the army builds. Let's get the battle started in normal speed. And yeah, archers are moving in, ready to pepper down enemy units. Especially the Everqueen's Court God would be great at just shooting up the enemy. Sour Guts would be a good choice. You need to eliminate that firepower soon. Otherwise, they will start decimating. Oh, there are some Sword Masters here. Interesting indeed. But yeah, they'll start shooting and doing some good damage to your unshielded troops like the Sword Masters. The Sword Masters can easily deal with the Chaos Warriors, but no, don't saturate those Sword Masters on top of the spears. That is how you don't get damage output out. But yeah, oh, there's some Severed Claw. Anyways, the lack of mobility on the High Elf side means that the Zandagors are free to just circle around the enemy's spear wall and just jump onto the archers and tear them down. These guys also get a charge on the Silver Helms and doing some really good damage, while the Sword Masters are stacking up onto their own spears and not exactly getting a great engagement here. A lot of their unit models getting... This is what happens when you stack a unit on top of each other. The Sword Masters aren't... A lot of units are getting stuck behind the friendly spears, not getting into contact with enemy troops. You can see these are the spears, these are Sword Masters, and there's a line of spear here, blocking a bunch of Sword Masters, preventing them from engaging Zangors. So you don't want to do that. That's why you don't want to stack your infantry units together. And on top of that, if the enemy have an AoE spell like a Searing Doom, these guys are going to take a ton of damage from that. Other than that, Zandagors and Furies are jumping onto the backline, running over some, just jumping onto the Rahagra's Pride, doing some good damage. Skull of Catan and the Final Transmutation combo has been activated, and draining away a good chunk of HP from the Archmage of Light. I don't think that was an overcast version because it was relatively short in terms of the duration, so not exactly the most damage with the spell, but either ways it is good damage. And Archmage of Light is now down to half health, while Furious continues to disrupt the Everqueen's Court Guard with the help of the Zandagors. Spears are trying to go back to the back line here and reinforce, while Sword Masters of Hoeth should be able to get a good engagement against the Severed Claw. The problem is they're still getting shot on the flanks by a bunch of pink and blue horrors, while the Chaos Warriors of Zinj with Halberds are also flooding in from their side. Furies and Zandagors continues to shut down the enemy firepower. Everqueen's Court Guard with slightly better melee, significantly better melee stats and leadership are able to hold on, but albeit only barely. Rahaga's Pride will be delivering a rear charge over there, and the Chromatic Abominations are sitting comfortably shooting. So I do believe this will be a very comfortable Siege victory here. Swordmasters are piling onto the Chaos Warriors of Siege here, doing good damage. But yeah, High Elves lost all their missile firepower, and the Tentacles are free to do whatever they want, as the Silver Helms are a little bit too far away to reinforce the rest of their High Elf units. Chromatic Abominations and Sour Guts continues to fire. Some Tattered Spears are trying to drag them in melee combat, but they're too battered to do anything, while the Chaos Lord of Tinge is just sticking himself right up the bum of the Archmage of Light. Yeah, Archmage of Light. But no, actually, the Chaos Lord decided to, yeah, just trying to stick together with the Archmage of Light, keeping her threatened and pressured by the anti-large armor piercing. Blue and pink horse continues to fire, and there goes the last bit of HP of the Swordmasters. They can fight well in melee, but not when they're just constantly shot by a bunch of firepower. Especially the Sour Guts, having decentish armor piercing value at 5 per shot. It's not too bad. So like, and on top of that, the Swordmasters, well, they are not shielded. Actually, yeah, they are. Wait, hold on. Yeah, they are not shielded, but they do have missile block chance. Forgot about that. Haven't played with them for a while. I remember them as a great sword infantry, which typically doesn't have missile block chance, but these guys do have missile block chance with a bronze shield. But that doesn't matter. They are getting shot from the side and the back. So yeah, they are just gonna get picked off. And Moon Dragon of the Light Mage also got finished off by the Chaos Sorcerer of Tinge and the Chaos Lord of Tinge and the charge of the Zandagors as well. And that shall be victory to the Tinge army. And yeah, very comfortable victory there with the... Actually, no, that's still... They still took a lot of losses with a... It's still a Pyrrhic victory for sure, but the Chaos Lord of Tinge and the... Yeah, the Chaos Lord of Tinge did so much damage. Basically picked off most of the damage from the High Elf Mage, with some damage supplied by the Final Transmutation as well. The Zangors here doing some good damage, while it's mostly the Tentacles and the Horrors doing the bulk of damage in terms of regular units. Fury's also doing some good disruption, just constantly sticking to the Archers and the Everqueen's Court Guard, making sure they can't safely fire. And the lack of mobility to screen off, and like the lack of High Elf units that can screen off enemy mobility spelled the doom of this High Elf army, as there are just too many threats, too many Furies, Tentacles to deal with. 4 units in total, but they only have 1 Silverhelm and 2 War Lions. And War Lions are great at dealing with Furies, but there's only 1 Silverhelms to keep the enemy Tentacles at bay. Instead of a Silverhelm, you probably would be better off just cut out the Silverhelm and bring in 2 regular Reaver Archers. Or, no, regular Reavers. Don't bring the Archers one in this scenario. Just bring the regular Reavers, get multiple of them, and then let them countercharge the Tentacles. And that will buy you more time for the Archers to keep shooting. And the Swordmasters, one of them did fine, but the second one getting shot pretty hard and didn't get that much damage, which is quite unfortunate there. Swordmasters, very good if they can get a melee fight, but unfortunately the game is just not great. Like, the meta is just not great for melee infantry in general. So you're probably better off getting cheaper troops like Rangers to go up against like Zangors or enemy Horrors. That sort of stuff, really. But yeah, other than that, yeah. Let's just move on to the next battle here. Lizardmen versus Tomb Kings. I am gonna hydrate a bit. We are seeing a lot of Boxagors though. Korhel Cross H. Interesting army picks here. Taehoen probably, given how narrow this army is, I assume Taehoen is probably on his Altar of the Gods. No, not Altar of the Gods, Engine of the Gods for his orbital laser. A ton of skinks as well. Yep, indeed, Taehoen is on the Engine of the Gods with a front line of skink cohorts and some Boxagors reinforcing the skinks, and some Saurus warriors and a single Star Chamber Guardians providing that sheer amount of elite fighting power to grind through enemy troops, and Bastillodon to provide healing for Taehoen himself. And there's also a Bastillodon with Solar Engine, more Boxagors, And yeah, that is it for army builds. Spell casting choices wise, we have Flock of Doom and Pan's Impenetrable Pelt, which comes in really handy with that physical resistance and added melee defense to keep something like, for example, Tan Hoen and his Engine of the Gods alive in melee fights. For the Tomb King's army here, we have a front line of skeleton warriors backed up by some Ushabti great bows, a line of skeleton spears and Nekra warriors, and Nekra horsemen actually. Pretty decent medium cavalry. Mid-tier cavalry with solid melee stats. Unfortunately, they're just a bit expensive, so you're usually better off bringing skeleton horses. And then Ushabti's regular ones with their dual hand weapons. Leading the army, we have Arkan the Black with Spirit Leech, which we've seen dropping some direct damage on Tan Hoen already. And also Sphinx of Uzkap for the anti-large armor piercing. Ushabti with Great Bow would be great at just shooting at enemy monsters. I don't know why the Tomb King's army decided to push up, because they could have just stood there and keep poking at Tan Hoen and other monsters and just keep doing damage. But I guess they want to push up to the Conquest point and get some damage in, but get some tickets points or something. But yeah, unfortunately though, not unfortunately, yeah. Anyways, Skink Hordes clashing into skeletons, but Skink's probably gonna lose out on that fight, or at least not gonna have an easy win to be exact. Tan Hoen though, with the help of the Bastillodon Solar Engine and the Star Chamber Guardians, they're decimating the poor skeletons here. Spirit Leech continues to drain away the health of Tan Hoen. He needs some rough crystal healing for sure. Sometime soon would be great, because you want to start using this healing as soon as possible, because otherwise you would just be wasting a lot of time on the cooldown. Like you're probably not gonna use up all the charges anyway, so you might as well just get the cast in as soon as possible. But a very nice space laser burning through a ton of skeletons there, getting a lot of damage done by Tan Hoen. 84 kills already with the space laser and whatnot, and another Flock of Doom to follow up that damage onto the skeleton warriors that are already rather depleted. Yeah, really nice stuff there with all the AoE damage. Where is the healing? Come on, start dropping healing. Finally, healing onto Tan Hoen. Yeah, Ref Crystal on Tan Hoen. Unfortunately, he is getting hit by the Sphinx of Uzkap, which does fire damage, cutting that healing in half. Star Chamber Guardians are still fighting in the mix, though, providing the physical resistance to mitigate anything that doesn't do magic damage. Unfortunately, Sphinx of Uzkap can cut through that physical resistance, but other than that, yeah, Tan Hoen still having over half health, doing fine. Boxagors absolutely slapping the hell out of those skeletons, so they're doing fine as well. Now skeletons are also now Boxagors are also flanking around, being a monster's infantry, having slightly higher speed than skeleton infantry there, just pressuring the enemy Boxagors. No, pressuring enemy Ushabti with great bows, forcing out an Ushabti summon in the backline, just trying to punch back against the Sacred Croxagors. Solar Engine being left alone here after taking some damage earlier, but I assume from the Ushabtis with great bows or something like that. Now starting to blast at the enemy targets and trying to blind them and apply that melee stats debuff. Those Sacred Croxagors taking more and more damage. Where is it? Okay, into the Skeleton Warriors, still doing some nice damage and a blinded debuff, I suppose. Nuking their stats down to a puny 0 on both sides. But yeah, the Sacred Croxagors unfortunately being terrified by the Sphinx of Uzkap. The armor-piercing anti-large damage plus terror is just too much for them. But now Tan Hoen is jumping into combat. Not exactly the best option here, but more healing coming in for Tan Hoen, keeping him alive despite the fire damage from the Sphinx of Uzkap, cutting that healing in half. But still, Ref Crystal just keeping the Tan Hoen in the fight here, as the Star Chamber Guardians continuously tearing down that Sphinx of Uzkap with their anti-large, being an elite halberd. Now the Bastillodon's Ref Crystal and Solar Engines jumping onto the Ushabti with great bows, just trying to disrupt the enemy shooting. While another space laser coming in. Where is it? Okay, right here on top of the Sacred Croxagors and the Skeleton Warriors that are blobbing up around them, doing minimal damage to the Boxagors, but doing devastating damage to the Skeleton Infantry. Very nice stuff with the space lasers so far. Sphinx of Uzkap also being taken down by the Star Chamber Guardians, and Boxagors continues to fight on. Now the Tomb King's army is basically down to some spears and Hekra horsemen, and I don't think they have what it takes to take down all these armored entities. The Boxagors, the Ref Crystal, Solar Engine, and Taehan himself might be a bit too much for the Tomb Kings to grind it out. There's still a lot of anti-infantry potential with all the single entities, and the Star Chamber Guardians are still fighting strong. Don't forget about the Rev Crystal healing to keep all these units going despite the damage they took. Ushabti with Great Bows, though, now that they're freed out from melee combat, they are now trying to pick off the remaining health of Taehan, doing some really nice damage. Lizardman Prayer, Corhel Cross really needs to activate these Croxagores once again to disrupt the Ushabtis, but as right now Taehan is taking more and more damage, the Rev Crystal is keeping him in the fight for now, but eventually it will run out, and or it will be staying on cooldown and won't get cast in time. Another Flock of Doom from Taehan doing a lot of damage so far over the course of battle, killing a lot of skeletons and allowing the single entities to fight in less enemy infantry support. And yeah, the Sacred Croxagores right now just beating up what remains on the Tomb King's side. These Sacred Croxagores being once again activated, maybe? I don't know. But yeah, now the Ushabtis are shooting at them, but that means Taehan is free to fight without anything shooting at him, so he is fighting strong, bullying these poor Ushabtis. Croxagores are also supplying this fight with some more entities help, more bodies and more AP damage, and also really solid melee stats. 42 melee attack and 33 melee defense, way better than the Ushabtis actually. There are some Necro Horsemen charging in, but the balance of power is slowly moving in favor of the Lizardman's side. The Flocks of Doom are doing some really good damage, and the Necro Horsemen getting torn apart by the Boxagores and Star Chamber Guardians in this fight. So yeah, the skeletons are just gonna go and die, and Ushabti with Great Balls being tied down in melee by both the Croxagores, by the Boxagores, and Taehan himself. I just really love the Stegadon models, honestly, especially with the Engine of the Gods and the laser beams. But yeah, that is probably gonna be it with the Sacred Croxagores with their power fists punching down the last bit of the Skellies. Just giving the energy. You can see literally some energy emitting from their Boxagore fists. So yeah, Arcane the Black is still trying to hold on with some skeleton summons, but over time there's just too many elite Saurus and Boxagores and single entities for him to kill. The Spirit Leech is doing damage over time, but it's not going to be enough. Such a disgusting Lizardman build? I don't think so, actually. It is very good in a... Oh, actually, yeah, this might be a very strong build. I might try it out in, like, more competitive environment, actually. But yeah, very strong performance from the Boxagore. No, actually, but the Boxagores are a bit disappointing, but... Seems like Taehan's Space Laser has a much faster cast time now, because they have a Creative Assembly change up the animation sequence. You don't count 5 seconds and then cast the laser and then the laser drops. You cast the spell, the laser fires, and at the same time starts counting down to 5 seconds. So it's much quicker to cast the laser now, making it much slightly harder to dodge, and making it a bit more effective. But yeah, I like this combo with the Rev Crystal and Taehan, using the healing to keep Taehan in the fight. While the Sacred Croxagore is here doing some meh damage against the enemy targets, but really the Star Chamber Guardians just keeps fighting on. As a lot of the enemy attention was dropped onto Taehan trying to take out this big bulky piece of threat of monstrosity. But all the damage was actually done by the Star Chamber Guardians fighting around Taehan. Anything that thrown into melee in the hopes of taking out Taehan, the Star Chamber Guardians just shred them in melee instead. As they are just fighting around Taehan, helping him take down any threats against him. So yeah, very nice combo. Star Chamber Guardians, Rev Crystal, and Taehan. With Taehan taking down enemy infantry support, and the big bulky monsters constructs are taken down by the Star Chamber Guardians. Very nice synergy, and also healing from the Bastillodon keep them in the fight. For the other side of the battlefield, Arcane the Black trying really hard to Spirit Leech down Taehan, but there's just too much HP on the Stegadon, and a bit too much healing for them to deal with as well. The Ushabtis, one of them did great, the other not so much, being dragged into melee relatively early by the Boxagores. And the Sphinx of Uskav did a lot of damage, but Unfortunately, fighting in the middle of a bunch of Star Chamber Guardians is just a bit too much for even the Necro Sphinx. The rest of the army, Skellies did some okay damage, but nothing too substantial here. Only the anti-large units are able to do some stuff, but yeah, Necro Horsemen definitely not worth it. Especially in this case, there's not a lot of good targets for them to fight. Like if you want units to deal with enemy skirmishers and mobility, regular skeleton horsemen would be enough for the job, and they're much cheaper. Yeah. Okay, one final battle, Greens. Grand Cathay versus Lizardman, and then that shall close off today's tournament stream. And that would be what a 3-hour stream? Yeah, that would be a quite long one. And that would be time for me to go after some dinner time. But yeah, let's finish off this final battle for today, and then we shall sign off. All right, let's slow down here. Army builds for the Grand Cathay side. It's another War Drum box. A front line of Jade Warriors, second line of Iron Hail Gunners, plus some more Jade Warriors protecting them in the back. One of them, the Halberd variant. I would argue you're better off just bring some long spears instead, just for cheaper and more bodies to do the job. But yeah, other than that, a bunch of Jade Lancers in the sky, some Onyx Crowmen, one of them the Empress Crowman, a very narrow build, leading the army of Zhao Ming, providing only Dragon Breath and also Final Transmutation. Coil Cross X, this is Coil Cross X, I believe. Actually, once again, bringing up the triple Riperdactyle and Tic-Tac-Toe's triple Riperdactyle Squadron. One of them the Colossalon Hunters. 3 Chameleon Skinks and 5 Chameleon Skinks scattered across the battlefield. And then for the front line, there's Skink cohorts backed up by some red-crested Skinks and Skink Priest of Heavens, a couple of Furrow Bastiladons trying to get some cheap anti-infantry armor-piercing stuff to break enemy front line. And if they can get on top of enemy Iron Hail Gunners, that would be very good. But let's see what happens here. As the Jungle War Drum would be something really helpful to the Grand Cathay army, especially if they activate the Disdain of the Dragon Empire, adding that immune to psychology to nearby troops, making them immune to that terror from enemy Bastiladons. Anyways, the Grand Cathay army going quite aggressive here, moving those Empress Crowmen right above the Lizardman troops who do not have any anti-air firepower. So yeah, Chameleon Stalkers are revealing themselves a little bit too early, so they're now under fire from all these Iron Hail Gunners. They're trying to get into melee, but their precursor missile weapons are shooting into the Jade Lances instead. And instead of the enemy infantry not doing the most cost-efficient damage, and more Jade Lances are piling in. On top of that, triple Crowmen jumping onto these poor units of Red Crested Skinks, absolutely annihilating them with a swarm of sheer bodies. While the Riperdactyle Riders are a little bit too far away to help out with the backline. They are very invested in taking out the enemy Iron Hail Gunners. Oh, a little bit too much. Okay, this is why it would be a bit of this is why the Renel's Thunderbolt is a little bit of a risky spell to cast right on top of your single entity. It's a small area of effect spell that does a lot of damage, and if it accidentally hit your unit model, your character unit model, it will do a high amount of damage value to your unit model as well. Let's just bring out the Skink Priest and see how much damage for a spell. 672 range damage, fully armor piercing. And on a rather fragile character like Tic-Tac-Toe, with less than 4,500 HP, that is quite a chunk of his HP gone right there. Quite unfortunate there. Yeah, just a bit of an unfortunate cast. And yeah. Riperdactyle Riders trying to swarm the enemy Iron Hail Gunners and whatnot, but the Iron Hail Gunners were mostly free right now, being screened off by a bunch of Chameleon Stalkers and whatnot, and the Riperdactyle Riders are forced to bail out of the situation. Now, Skinks are fighting shoulder to shoulder, and Bastiladons are trying to disrupt Iron Hail Gunners, but there are 2 more Iron Hail Gunners just free at the back line, ready to just unload everything into the Furrow Bastiladons. Skinks are trying to swarm the back line, but The Jade Warriors are holding the line, while the Skinks are way too clumped up onto only a couple units of enemy infantry. Oh no, a devastating final transmutation upgraded version dropping right onto this blob of Ripper-Projectile Riders and Tic-Tac-Toe, doing a lot of damage. And Zhao Ming was also counter-punching Tic-Tac-Toe pretty hard in the melee fight there. Tic-Tac-Toe had to fall back after taking a lot of damage, and things are not looking too hot for the Lizardman army. A lot of their Skinks are being tied down in a melee fight, surrounded and boxed in by enemy Jade Warriors. As you can see here, you can see that the Skinks are completely surrounded. A lot of 3 whole units of Skinks completely surrounded by enemy infantry, and they can't actually get out of there. The only way to pull out is through the back, but even then they will really struggle to get themselves out of there. So very unfortunate there. That's why you don't want to clump up your units, as they're now being completely blocked up. And if Zhao Ming just move over and just drop his breath attack, that would be Valor City. But looks like he had his eyes somewhere else instead. Anyways, Zhao Ming and his squad of crowmen duking it out with the Ripper-Projectile Squadron and Tic-Tac-Toe. And it seems that Zhao Ming is getting an upper hand. The Onyx Crowman getting that melee attack boost, somehow managing to get in range. Wait, how fucking large is the range of the Jungle War Drum? Where the fuck is the Jungle War Drum anyways? I don't see it. Wait, maybe I'm just mistaking things. Where's the Jungle War Drum? Oh, right here. How the hell? Oh, that is a really large area of effect. I didn't realize. Effect range 30-second cooldown, 100 meter effect range. Okay, that makes sense. Just constantly refreshing that melee attack bonus to all these Onyx Crowmen, which helps them getting the upper hand over here in the fight against the Ripper-Projectile Riders. They have the models. They just need the melee attack stats to punch through enemy defenses and get those damage. And now here comes the Dragon's Breath attack, burning down all these clumped up Skinks, and they're taking more and more damage over time. Surrounded on all fronts by a wall of metal by all the Jade Warriors, and being burned down by the Dragon's Breath attack, they no longer able to stand in combat and are now being chased off by the Onyx Crowman. Ripper-Projectile Riders are trying their best to shut down the Iron Hill Gunners, but the problem is Zhao Ming and the lack of infantry support on the Lizardman side. But still fighting strong, since the Iron Hill Gunners were not really putting the focus onto them. But balance of power is in the favor of the Grand Cathay army. They're slowly winning out in the attrition battles. The Skinks are losing out, and Ripper-Projectiles are jumping on to Iron Hill Gunners. Yeah, we can probably fast forward here as more Renown Slender Bolt dropping onto the enemy infantry, but not exactly the best accuracy here, since it does take quite a bit of wind-up time, and on top of that, the Jade Warriors just moved out of the way. The Projectile Riders once again trying to swarm the enemy Crowmen, but in fact they are the ones getting swarmed by Crowmen and the Zhao Ming, the Iron Dragon. Skinks are returning to the fight here, but I think we can conclude this fight here as more breath attacks burning down the Skinks. And it's just a flustercuck in the sky. Crowman versus Ripper-Projectile Riders trying to duke it out and decide who can dominate the skies. And it seems that Master of the Skies ain't no master anymore. Getting beaten up by Crowman, surrounded by Crowman and beaten by Zhao Ming, and yeah, the Ripper-Projectiles are also slowly falling to the overwhelming forces of Crowman. On top of that, the Jungle War Drum is still kicking strong in the nearby vicinity, providing all that damage attack buffs to nearby units. And yeah, that shall probably be the end here. We can probably fast forward, and as the last bit of the Pharaoh Bastillodon and the Skink Priest falls to army losses. And yeah, that's it for this one final battle of today's stream. I hope you all enjoy this little new player tournament, Conquest mode tournament from the RTK clan. I probably won't be able to cast the one next week, so hopefully they will be able to find another caster to cast this tournament battle. But other than that, let's have a look at the army performances before we sign off for the day. Iron Hail Gunners didn't do not much damage since the Lizardmen did do a pretty good job keeping them busy, preventing them from shooting. But the Crowmen here did some really good damage over time, having the numbers and the attack buffs from the Jungle War Drum to actually win out in fights against the Colostodon Hunters and Ripper Projectile Riders, preventing the Ripper Projectile Riders from getting too much damage. Jade Lancers also getting some good damage. Just a very strong Cathay build with all the damage with all the melee buffs coming in from the Jungle War Drum. Zhao Ming also getting some good damage value over time, beating up Tic-Tac-Toe and just using the Dragon's Breath to burn down those skinks. For the Lizardman army here, quite unfortunately, their infantry weren't quite able to beat back the juiced up Jade Warriors who are buffed up by the Jungle War Drum. And the Chameleon Skinks, I mean, they did manage to disrupt the enemy Iron Hail Gunners, but unfortunately just take too much damage from the enemy Jade Lancers. And the Ripper Projectile Riders, they were not they're not in a good trade against all those Crowmen being swarmed by the Crowmen, and also who are buffed up by the Jungle War Drum as well. I feel like the Jungle War Drum area of effect is a bit too much. 100 meters, that's a lot of area covered, and basically was able to constantly give like a ton of attack buffs to the entire army, or most of the army of the Grand Cathay. So yeah, a little bit of an unfair advantage, I feel like, with the Jungle War Drum. But yeah, that is it for today. Son of Heaven or Stelios. No worries, man. Always down to stream a good, fun tournament for any multiplayer battles. But yeah, that is it for today. My voice is giving out. Thank you for everyone for watching and playing in the tournament. A big shout out to RTK Clan and Big JP for inviting me to cast this tournament. Really fun stuff to see. And yeah, that is it for today. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Unless I am, and do I know anyone who is on stream right now? No. And yeah, that is it for today. Thank you for watching, and I shall sign off for now. Tacticalich signing out. You guys have a good day or evening or afternoon or wherever you are. Goodbye.